Can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
You're damn right.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it, folks. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, the coach, Tim LaComb. How are you, sir?
Let's wake up the neighbors.
Let's go.
I'm doing well. We saw a big time game last night. I felt, I said it yesterday. I felt like Minnesota would give way more than San Antonio was expecting. I felt like San Antonio would find a way to win, even late. But man, you don't see it very often. But Anthony Edwards,
yeah,
like kudos to you, man. Going, most guys maybe had waited. But this dude he's a guy that's out there always about, hey, man, if I'm healthy, I'm playing. And healthy for him is, if I can get up and walk around.
I mean, look, and I tweeted this out this morning. All of us, and it's easy, and I'm as guilty as anybody. If you grew up watching NBA hoops in the 80s and 90s, you really have a strong appreciation for tough man basketball because that's what you were around. You guys played 75 to 82 games every year. There were no night offs. It was as physical in January as it was in April. And, the bad boys of Detroit, the Jordan rules, all that stuff where people were just knocking each other's heads off and playing through pain. And so now our generation looks at these NBA players and thinks that they're a bunch of spoiled, pampered, you-know-whats. And so on the flip side, if we're gonna kill NBA players for being that way, then we better put up Anthony Edwards on a pedestal and say, hey, this is our kind of guy. This is a guy that could have flourished in the 80s and 90s because he played through pain and he impacted a game and he told the training staff, get lost. I don't care what you say. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play and led his team to a big game one victory on the road.
And it's just awesome. I mean, it's in a league that's aching for that. For a guy. And I told Lloyd this earlier. I'm curious how you feel about it. But when I watch the league, and I watch it a ton, obviously 82 games a year with the Jazz. So I see just about everybody depending on the night.
Yeah.
But Anthony Edwards to me is a throwback to, the closest thing to what it felt like when he gets it going. And that little hop, he gets a hop in his step. He shot that 3 over Wemby last night and had just – he got that off just barely over the Eiffel Tower, and man, but his back pedal, there's parts of that dude. That's what it was like watching Mike all the time.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. And I love it. I'm looking at his logs. So since he came into the league, he's played 72 games, 79 games, 79 games, and this year obviously got hurt with the knee and played 61.
But still played 61, more than a lot of guys that are just resting.
Exactly. So, it's crazy to me, but it just shows you, again, we saw it with the Mammoth in Vegas. People talk about playoff experience. The Spurs team has a marginal bit of it, but they're going against a team that's been, right on the verge of making major statements, and they got a bunch of veterans that are proud,
Hey, by the way, we're going to get into that game. I'm going to have that on our starting lineup, but a little bit of breaking news. I can already hear the angst coming down from Cache Valley right now. BYU and Utah State announcing a 2-game series. Game 1, Utah State, BYU, December 9th in the Marriott Center. Game 2, Logan, right? No.
Just a little south?
Just a little south in the Delta Center for the 27-28 season. And I thought it was going to be a 3-game. When I saw that they announced the series and I saw Delta Center, I thought it'd be a 3-game series. One in Provo, one in Logan, one in the Delta Center. No. BYU gets out of the trip to Logan, and they will go to the Delta Center instead.
Well, I imagine major negotiations there. The positive side, I love when these two teams play.
I do too.
And we were just talking before we came on because we saw that hit. But I was part of this thing has changed a bunch. And what it used to be was, this team would play actually home and road in the same year when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
That was yearly. You set your clock by it. And then obviously when the conferences became to be more desperate, I guess, obviously the power team's going to hold the cards.
Yeah.
And so I was a part of the whole thing that actually tried to take it off of it was what it was when I got to BYU was 1 year in Provo, 1 year in Logan, and you just alternate.
Yeah.
But then the crazy thing is, obviously, everything changes, and so Dave proposes to Stu that we do Provo, Logan, and then the third in Delta Center, and thought that would be a good thing for everybody, and learned very quickly no, that was not a good thing. And actually, he had people would come up to him in the grocery store from Logan and say, "That's really awful what you did to the Aggies."
Wow.
Oh yeah, man. So I can imagine that this will probably not land well.
No. And I remember PK and I got into a real big argument one morning and during this whole thing. And he said, well, Utah State's going to do what BYU wants them to. I'm like, normally, yes. Stu won't. Like, Stu is the one guy where he'd be like, it's either my way or no way. And PK and I had a bet that Utah State would cave on it. And I said, Utah State might, Stu Morrill won't. And sure enough, Stu's like, fine, we'll shut it down.
And we did. Wasn't it shut down for a year or two?
Yeah, it went away for a while.
Yeah, and then when it did come back, however, it was the home neutral.
Yeah, which is the right way to go. Absolutely.
So again, this is the one cool thing about Delta Center, and the Aggie fans have shown it. They'll get out and be rowdy and loud. In fact, I was a BYU coach in one of the games in Delta Center against the Aggies, and they turned out great and were really loud.
Yeah,
as I recall. So, hey, man, it's a win for the state. They're going to play. Those two teams this last year, obviously, I thought that would have been a fun game to watch this year with both teams at full strength and both teams firing because they were so different. The two styles would have been interesting to watch.
Utah State. Also, part of that agreement is that that game in Delta Center, it will be a 50-50 ticket split. So BYU gets 50%, Utah State gets 50%.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Turn the game to the Spectrum. Come on.
That's what I would do.
Come on.
Come up north.
I mean,
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
Okay, and that's where everybody will go. But again, if you're going to play, it's like in a negotiation. If you hold the cards, you're going to hold the cards. And right now, by virtue of the league, BYU's making that decision.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But I applaud Cam and Coach Jacobson for doing it.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's great for the state.
And that's one thing that Ben Jacobson would have to sign off on. Cam Walker would sign off. I mean, I think those guys are going to work together and say, all right, what can we do to make this thing work? Well, we'll do this and this. Like, can we get you to Logan? Nope, not deal's off. And like, okay, well, how badly do you want? But here's the thing, though. In this day and age of quad ones and all that, I mean, Utah or BYU goes to Logan. That's a quad one game for BYU.
Absolutely. It is. Absolutely a quad. But in their mind, they've got plenty of quad.
Oh, yeah. They play in the Big 12.
Right.
They don't need quad ones.
So,
Utah State does need quad ones because their conference isn't going to provide a lot of them. More than it did last year when you have San Jose and Air Force dragging everybody down. But, yeah, Utah State definitely needs the resume padding more than BYU does based on the conference affiliation.
And regardless of, what people think in the state, if BYU in its current, status goes to Logan and loses, it would be one of the top stories, because and I think that's what BYU looks at. They don't have anything to gain there, right? Let's play. We'll play one at our place and we'll give you half the gate. I think in a power scenario, it makes a ton of sense. For us traditionalists, I would like to see it be, home and home.
Yeah.
But again, that's something that BYU probably wouldn't do because they don't have to.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
Lloyd's gonna sink his teeth into that one. Hey, so do you think that there's also probably some, I don't know, some financial, financial things involved in this as well for going to BYU?
Oh, I would think so, for sure. Yeah, I would think so because
essentially treat it like a buy game.
Yeah, there was probably a payment involved that would then make it more equitable because that's typically you look at a home and home always. If you do not return the game, then there usually is some sort of cash incentive to play the game.
Yeah,
I had to schedule forever. By
the way, people don't understand what a nightmare that is.
Man, it is so dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have things locked down or think you've got them locked down. And I'm talking about with other coaches, with ESPN. Like ESPN did us so hard one time after we did them a huge favor to play in their Mickey Mouse midnight, play 2 a.m. thing. But it's just crazy the scenarios you get in. I once negotiated a deal. We went and played Northern Arizona in Prescott. They wanted to open this new facility in Prescott, Arizona. And coach is like, I don't want to do that. And then they came back and they're like, we'll fly you there on jet and we'll give you $100,000 and something to your program. Coach is like, done. So it was one of the cooler ones we ran into because number one, you're going to win that game no matter what.
Yeah.
Number two, you're getting compensated and it's really hassle-free, the travel.
Yeah.
Those are the things you look at.
And then you also look at the fact okay, it's Arizona and we can pitch this as trying to reach out to members and BYU fans down in that part of the state.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. You can always play that card.
But the crazy part about it is you walk into, whether it be Prescott, Arizona, Madison, Wisconsin, we were on the Isle of Crete, and there are going to be at least 50 people there. It doesn't matter where you are, and people will show up. It's crazy to me, but that brand, obviously with the affiliation, the culture, they get out and support.
There was a 2-game, I don't want to say an MTE, but it was just a back-to-back, just a doubleheader in Vegas. I think it was a T-Mobile, and BYU played Creighton the first game. This was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think that was with Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was Mark's last year. And then, so BYU played Creighton, and then Utah State played LMU the second game. And Creighton and BYU, obviously, you're going to have crazy fan bases. And then Utah State played LMU, and then you could hear a pin drop in that thing.
I'm telling you, it was so sad when LMU came to the conference tournament, because that it would be the Lion and the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And some semblance of a band. And then maybe 4 or 5 other people. And that was it. That was our whole contingent.
And a ratty gym.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Bad.
No bueno.
Those Wednesday night games in the WCC were not made for television.
Oh, man. And to go from the pit and Viejas and all that to, that's hard coming back from that.
Then you go to the Orleans, for the tournament. They squeeze you in that little, it's like a bowling alley.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been there many, many times.
Where you can just walk down from craps and catch a ball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, we'll get back to that, but Utah State, BYU back on the books. First game coming up December 9th in Provo, and then game number 2. I don't believe there's a date set on that yet, but it will be in the Delta Center coming up in the 27-28 year. All right, let's kick it off. It is your starting lineup right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Here's Ant, baseline on the drive, steps through, reverse layup. His night stays perfect. Anthony Edwards 3 for 3 shooting. 6 to shoot. Ant settles for the 3. Right side, it's on its way. It's nothing but net. Anthony Edwards' his third 3. He's up to 13 points. Champagny moves to his left, fires a 3 at the buzzer. It's off the front rim, no good. The ball game is over. The Timberwolves have stolen game 1 in San Antonio, 104-102.
So, by the way, this is the craziness of basketball. This is why I love, and sports overall. we are a wide open three away from having a completely different conversation. I mean, that was a good look from three, left it way short, and now we're going to talk about how great Minnesota is. But the fact is, Minnesota did go in there and play really well, led by Anthony Edwards, and San Antonio had a historic defensive performance from Wemby, and it was all for naught. 12 block shots, 12 blocks, and 6 in the first quarter, I want to say?
Yeah, 7 actually.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this right now. That dude, that line is insane. He had 11 points, and credit Minnesota for that because they did not let him get to the rim much.
No.
And that's where he needs to get to be really effective. He did get there a couple times like a giraffe and just soar over everybody. But they did a nice job physically on him. And then, Ant was so big. But to your point, I like the fact they didn't call timeout. I like the fact they raced that thing up there. You're not going to get that kind of look, or you may, but it's going to take a lot of things to go right. In transition, if you can race the ball up and make an advantage for yourself, I love that play. And you're right. I mean, if that thing goes in, this whole thing is completely different. But credit the Timberwolves and their playoff experience because you have to have a ton of grit. It takes grit to go do that because nobody, we talked about it yesterday, and you were spot on about the Knicks. So I have a feeling the Knicks are going to roll tonight. And I was like, but they rolled all right. But the other game we talked about it, and we both felt like the Wolves would show up because of that, because of the grit.
And they are just a tough throwback team. And by the way, Rudy Gobert getting a ton of love for what he did defensively against Wemby. But I also think Randall needs some love too, because I think he played really well in the second half against Wemby, and he drew that assignment a lot. So you got Anthony Edwards pretending like it's 1987 out there, playing for the bad boys. He and Bill Laimbeer next to each other, just knocking heads and playing hurt and doing everything they need to do. And don't overlook the influence. And Anthony Edwards pointed this out post-game, too. And you covered him for every game that he played in a Jazz uniform. Don't overlook the influence Mike Conley has on that locker room. And to have that kind of a veteran, that mature adult in the room with a lot of big personalities in that Minnesota locker room. You go to Jaden McDaniels and you go to Anthony Edwards. I mean, these are dudes that are just alphas thinking they are the BMOCs. And you get a guy like Mike Conley who's been around the block over and over and over again and bringing these dudes together and saying, okay, this is what it's going to take. I think he has been an absolute huge impact for that team.
No, for sure. And, his play with Dante, DiVincenzo being out, and having to play more minutes than he's played all year. He's really played in the teens most of the year. Has just been kind of a guy that's filled in with foul, when guys get in foul trouble. But last night played 24 minutes and was just so efficient. That's the number you look at. You want your point guard to take shots and make them, but they don't need to be about them. He was 4 for 8, 4 for 7 from 3, and hit the number I look at for a point guard: 6 assists, no turnovers.
Yeah.
And all that chaos, all that length, didn't get himself in any trouble. And you're right, he was the floor general out there. But this Minnesota team's impressed me because they've been written off a couple of times. Each iteration. I mean, we're a couple of years removed from Rudy fighting with McDaniels.
Oh yeah.
But I think a big thing happened when the playoffs started. I think Jaden McDaniels really stood up and bowed his neck, and we all talked about it. And it was brash, and it was out there. But I think they kind of needed that.
Yeah.
Because everybody on this team, the veterans particularly, have really rallied. And then Ant, not totally 100% ready to go, but man, was he effective in 25 minutes. I love they brought him off the bench and used him in spots. But 25 minutes, had 18 points. Again, very efficient, 8 for 13. Wasn't trying to force things, but when big shots needed to be made, he made them.
8 of 13 from the field. I mean, just methodical, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, did everything the right way. It was just it was just everything you hope from a guy like that. And, he didn't have to go 35, 36 minutes. Jaden went 36. Julius Randle went 41. Rudy went 30. Terrence Shannon, by the way, who had himself an interesting night as well with 35 minutes. Anthony gave you a 25. Not healthy, maybe at, what do you think, 75?
Probably. I mean, he was wincing and
Oh,
grabbing
yeah.
at his knee a lot.
But for him to give you 25 minutes and play as well as he did, I think it just meant the world for that squad. Naz Reid also with 30 minutes, 12 points. I mean, overall, this team just played really well.
They did, and it's a team that struggled this year. They won 49 games, in the regular season, and so they are playing their best basketball. I think they have actually really connected.
Yeah.
This year for the first time, really connected as a team, and Ant shows it coming off the bench. Are you kidding me? Like most guys would be like, no, I'm going out there, but this team right now is about we, and those are dangerous teams. Guys that have grit, have been there before, and make it about us. That's a good team right there.
All right, so there you go. Minnesota gets a Game 1 victory, and the Knicks absolutely obliterate the 76ers in Game number 1. We'll talk about that game coming up. It's a busy show. We'll also continue to wrap up, put a nice tidy bow on the Utah Mammoth season coming up a little bit later on in the program. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Happy, what is it, Tuesday? It's Tuesday today,
Tuesday,
right?
man.
Yeah, that's right. They all kind of blend together. All right, so we got, again, in case you're just joining us, I'm getting some people on Twitter that are that may have maybe a 435 next to their phone number that are none too pleased about the game.
Ooh, let's get into some of those. That'll be fun today.
What's wrong with my chicken?
Well, it's an interesting situation where Utah State will be playing BYU. And look, I love the rivalry. I love that game. These are the two best basketball teams in the state of Utah. They should be playing every single solitary year, and it should be a really fascinating game between these two teams. Now, BYU, we know that the talent that they'll have on that team. For Utah State, obviously you'll have Mason Falslev, you'll have Carson Templin, and then a bunch of new guys as well. But you know what? This is a game that needs to be played. Now, no trip back to Logan. Game 2 next year. Or not this year, but the following year will be in the Delta Center, which I think those games need to be played all the time, honestly. Delta Center games, in-state, out-of-state, I don't care. I love Utah State playing games down there. Would every Utah State fan prefer to see a trip back to Logan? Yes, but you know what? When you're scheduling a team in the Big 12, sometimes they hold all the cards there.
And that's the crazy thing is that's where it was for us. Like that's exactly what Arizona did to us. They did not, however, make us play in their home state because obviously. But Arizona agreed to do a deal with us if we played in their Fiesta Bowl Classic basketball tournament right around the time or right before the Fiesta Bowl Classic or Fiesta Bowl in January. We actually got that, and then their return was to Delta Center. So, BYU's been big boy too. But it's the nature of the beast now, and the bigger the paycheck next to your league, the more decisions you get to make. It's just that's the world we live in.
Somebody will do a freedom of information on the Utah State part. They'll get that contract, take a look at it, and I think there'll be some interesting financial ramifications in there as well.
I would bet so. Yeah, and because that's how those contracts are done. The basically the way the contract, if it's just, like you're selling a house, you're going to swap houses. It'd say, we'll do one here and one there.
Yeah.
But if there is not that return, then there has to be some sort of compensation. And part of that could be the 50-50 split of Delta Center, because that's a game that's a place BYU uses multiple times a year typically. But I would imagine there's, in addition to that, then probably some sort of financial compensation for that.
You and Dave, you loved going to Logan, right?
I actually didn't mind it at all. I mean, I hated playing up there. But if you're a basketball fan, and I told you this year, I went and did a game with you, filled in on the Fresno game. Yeah. And, at halftime was told that, the nearest restroom was up. So I got a good quad workout that night. But I also got a great look at Aggie faithful. And I'm telling you, man, it's tried and true. And they're in those seats. It was a Tuesday night, if I recall, and it was a later start. But you couldn't find a seat in the house. I asked you on the way up. I called you, said, hey, can you get me a ticket for my buddy? He's going to come up with me. And he's like, Scotty was like, no, man, they're sold out. I'm sorry. I can't even get any through the athletic department. So I literally got on SeatGeek and bought a ticket, and my buddy came with me. So it's a place that if you love basketball, you want to be a part of them. But I took my share of butt kickings in there. I think I only won one game up there, if I remember right, one or two, with a lot of really good teams. That goes back to Rick. Rick, my very first game in the Spectrum, we won with Utah back in '94. Doliak hit an angle 17-foot jumper to put it from a 5-point game to a 7-point game with about a minute something to go. And he'd been working on that shot and hadn't really taken anything away from the rim. I remember he just stepped up, bam. And that became kind of his patented shot. But that's where, the first one went in and everybody's like, yes. So it was awesome.
He might be onto something.
He might be
an okay player for us.
That was back in the Eustace days.
Yeah. Larry was there till 97, 98 was his last year. And then Stu, I remember Stu's first year, they beat Utah after Utah's trip to the national championship game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely did. But you take that into account when you schedule. And, BYU, a team like BYU, they're trying to obviously play a competitive schedule, but not one considering the conference they're in that's going to break their neck.
Yeah.
And if they can go play, for instance, or actually bring somebody into the Marriott Center and just pound them, then it'll probably suffice better because they're going to get plenty of opportunities to go on the road in hostile environments.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, so last night, the Knicks, and, we kind of talked about this a bit yesterday, and watching them again up close last night, I really think this team might be coming out of the East. They just hammer Philadelphia, 137-98, have a big lead, nearly a 20-point lead at halftime. And, in fact, it was a 20-point lead at the break. And at that point, it was just cruise control. And Jalen Brunson continues to just be a beast. And at his size, I don't know how he's doing it, but, man, he's doing it.
He's that guy. He is that guy. And I talked about it. He's a guy that came into the league through the second round. And we saw what he did in that series against Utah. Donovan and he were kind of the marquee guys, and he won that battle each and every night, and you kept thinking he can't keep making that step back and stop going for a shot fake. And, man, that shot was hard. He can't make that again. But sure enough, that's what he's done. And there's a toughness to him. I mean, the shot he hit, really, really big-time dagger shot he hit on a big run that then, they were able to run away from the Sixers. But to the Sixers' point, and you mentioned this yesterday, they were gassed. I mean, Edgecombe played 44 minutes against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Maxey played 45. Paul George played 42. And these aren't, he's not a young guy. Embiid's injured and coming off injury, and he played 39. So you're going to see a better look from Philly, but I'm with you. I don't see a team now that can beat New York because they've got something going. And there's a neat fabric woven through there, like the Josh Hart piece, how hard he plays, Bridges, how hard he plays. I mean, that's a special group.
It's a blue collar group. Is what I really like.
Cat tough.
I know. I don't know how that happened.
I guess tougher. Sorry.
Tougher. Yeah, I guess.
Lose my credibility. Not tough.
Yeah.
tougher.
There's, and I remember a coach talking about a particular player, and I'll tell you who it is during the break, but he said, you know what, I can't make him tough, but I can at least make him at least pretend like he's tough out there.
That's right. He has to believe it.
Yeah, you can't teach a baby shark how to bite.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
But you can maybe teach I don't know, one that doesn't bite to at least gum it a little bit. Just try.
That's my two twin granddaughters are teething right now.
Yeah.
Not teething, and they're about to pop the first tooth, so they're gumming a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah.
Those cold ice packs.
That's miserable, man.
Can you imagine? I'm glad we don't remember all that stuff.
I got to imagine if you have twins, you want them to be the first. Because I know your daughter had the one and then had the twins after. Like, if you know what it's like to have one, it's probably tough going to twins after that. But if you have twins right out of the gate, you don't know any different. You just think that's what life's like. But when you realize that, oh, wow, this is harder, and it's harder times 2 than it was for the first one, then I got to imagine that's not easy.
Oh, man, it has been a family affair. Let's put it that way. Everybody's been willing, but, man, it rocks your world, dude. It rocks your world. Some of the stuff early on, I'm just, like, acclimating to a new life is no joke. There's a lot to it.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you to all those that kept us afloat because we were just a blob, that needed all that attention.
My wife and I, our kids are about 4 or 5 years apart, each one of them. And it was enough where we would forget how, there was enough time that passed that we would forget how hard it was. And like, oh, yeah, we've done this. We'll be fine. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that too. And then, a few years like, all right, you ready for another? Yeah, it wasn't that bad. We can deal with that. And then, nope.
We trick our own self.
Yes.
I mean, it's like when a season starts every year. I went to dinner with you the other night, and we were talking about when your schedule gets nuts. I mean, I can't imagine all of when you're doing both basketball and football, that overlap, handling the coaches show on the football side, driving here, there, and everywhere, traveling to here, there, and everywhere. I mean, that's got to be a blur. And every year you're like, why do I do this? And then about this time you're like, I'll give it another ride. I think that's going to be.
Let's go.
You don't remember you don't remember any of that.
But as a coach, I can't imagine what the toll that takes on a family.
Well, on a person too. Look at me. Look what it's done to me. I used to have my old badge. They gave me the press pass when I started working with the Jazz, but they used my picture from the BYU's website, which was when I was 36, and so I was very spry and very clean shaven, and upright, and had short hair. And so, I mean, a number of times they were like, is that really you? This is your brain. This is your brain on coaching. This is what you look like after you're done from 20 years of that.
12 years of coaching.
Yeah, that's it does some stuff to you. But you're right to the family, too.
Yeah.
So honestly, we're going to Minky this week, right?
Yes.
Later in the week.
Yeah.
So, get something for your mom, your wife, because they're the ones that end up bringing these wonderful children. they believe me, it's not us, Pops.
No.
We do our best.
No.
But that nurturing piece, obviously, huge to get us through it.
And by the way, we will be at Minky Couture, as you mentioned, coming up on Thursday. So with that, please stop by and hang out with us. We'll be in Layton. There's a bunch of Minky Couture locations located up and down the Wasatch Front. On Thursday, we'll be at the Layton location where you can get 50% off any Minky regularly priced blanket. Now, keep in mind, on Thursday, we may even increase that discount just a hair, too. So all you have to do is go to any Minky location, mention the zone right now, and you'll get that 50% off. And that will continue throughout the weekend. You can also go online and use the promo code ZONE50, but I don't know if it's going to make it to you in time. So just to be safe, with Mother's Day coming up on Sunday, just go to any Minky location, mention the zone, get your 50% off, and just know you can't screw up Mother's Day. She gets a Minky blanket. It doesn't matter how many Minkies she has. You give her another one, and she sees that, and she sees that little tag on it. You're a hero. You knocked it out of the park. So you can leave that store knowing, I'm not sleeping on the couch on Sunday night.
I've already got a list. My wife has a list because we have now, daughters-in-law. A daughter-in-law.
That's
we're
right.
Gonna take care of. And then her eyes got really big when she thought of another Minky possibly coming back. Even a robe.
The robes
And I told her I'm working on an entire outfit.
Yeah.
So, Sandy, get that thing ready.
And next time you're doing the TV for the Jazz, you'll wear the Minky suit, like a Minky. Yeah.
Minky monster.
Yeah.
It's the Minky monster.
And just, wrap up in that. I mean, it looks way better than anything Mike Smith's wearing.
Oh, man, that guy dresses like he shops at the Boulevard. He's on the Boulevard.
Which he probably does, now that he's in tip-top shape. All right, 1045, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take a break. What you may have missed coming up next right here on The Zone.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Napolis spinning the tunes back there. A little Santana. Hey.
Was there a moratorium on it? We didn't hear it for a few days after the triple shot.
Well, he was gone, so
but
he wasn't here to play it.
But hey, man, it's Cinco de Mayo. We got to party the Santana way.
A little Santana. I'm telling you, Cinco de Mayo, highly underrated.
Just quick magic fingers, that dude.
Yeah, that dude was, yeah. And I know that there's a lot of people that don't like that song. I like that song. Again,
I do too.
It's a little cotton candy-ish, but, there's nothing wrong. You don't listen to that song and afterwards be like, wow, that's 4 minutes of my life I'm never getting back.
You know where that song comes in handy? We're going to Cedar City in a couple weeks, right, or a month or so. That comes in handy about outside of Mona.
Yeah.
When you've driven a long way, but you haven't driven far enough, and you need a little shot in the arm. It's just
like you could get out a little further from Mona before you had to go to Santana.
I don't know, man. It's hard to get. You haven't driven through there much lately. It takes you an hour and a half to just get through whatever Provo, Orem, and Linden have become. I don't see the type of traffic up here I saw down there.
No.
I'll tell you that.
No. That's why I know you're very happy about your move north.
I was so early today. I just got on State and just right down State today, just waving to everybody. Hello, I love my job.
You got to be careful, though, because if you don't go the right way, PK will yell at you.
Yeah, he's all about the efficient way. I was just trying to help a guy out. But then he did make he's here before most humans are awake.
Well, that's true. But that's the thing. He never has to deal with traffic.
I said most.
Unless it snows.
Unless it's... Wade.
Does he have a no-snow driving in the snow
policy
for all that time he spent in Arizona?
Well, I think all that time he's making, road trips from Laramie to Fort Collins. I think he was, he's new
to the weather.
I'm going to point in my life where I'm not going to deal with snow anymore.
You don't have to. And the cool part for PK, we got to see him today. And they had a great show. I was listening on the way in. Had some good guests, but he's got league day today. He gets to be out on the links.
Yes. When are we taking the show out to a golf course?
You tell me. Can't we do? Can we go out and sit there with just random people and mock them?
Just heckle them? Yeah, we can probably make that happen.
Are you still a country club member?
I am not.
Oh.
You had that with the old coaching thing, right?
No, I didn't. I actually got it during that time, however, and
Alpine or
at Riverside.
Riverside, okay.
Yes,
I thought it was Alpine.
Shout out my good friend Riverside. No, I grew up near Alpine Country Club as a kid, but I wasn't on the country club list.
That's where my friend, our color analyst for football, Kevin White, is a member of the Alpine Country Club.
Fine country club.
And apparently, I don't know if I should be telling this story on the air, but when has that ever stopped us before?
Hey, we get inside info.
Well, apparently, so Kevin is a rule follower, and that's what I love about Kevin. He is very he is your quarterback. This is when we do this, and this, and he's very much methodical, by the book, and he's a bishop. He does everything the right way, and that's why he's really good for the broadcast because. I am.
You get sideways.
I get a little sideways every now and then, and he's like, "All right, let's get it dialed
Bring
in."
It back in.
Yeah, and so there was, I guess, some kind of construction or some landscaping going on at Alpine. I don't know. I'm not invited to play Alpine, and so
Kevin, invite a brother.
Oh, Kevin's actually invited me a bunch of times, but Kevin's game is way too advanced for me.
Why are you shaking your head right now?
Stop it. He
hasn't.
He has, and so. Apparently, they had to. They were skipping a hole and going to another hole, or you had to start on the back. I don't know. There was something going on, and somebody wasn't following the rules, and Kevin was behind them, and Kevin started barking at him, said, hey, you're going the wrong way, you're screwing up everybody, and got apparently a little aggressive about it, and then found out that it was Danny and Austin Ainge.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. They were going the wrong way.
Yeah,
Because I've been with them golfing, and it's like, there's a lot going on. Conversations, arguments, debates, all of it. And then I can see where they could get off track. But fine golfers and fine men.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're talking big trades and weren't even paying attention exactly where they were going.
Hey, I heard something.
Moving and shaking.
Yeah.
So last week, I've had so many people reach out through, and this is a honk. But Danny called last week, and I was with my grandkids, and I talked to him. He said, "What are you doing?"
Have that as a hot button. We're going to be going to that a lot.
I feel like so.
You can't help who you hang with, man. Your network.
It's like,
don't use it against me.
It's not my fault I'm so
Buddy
popular.
called me, Danny.
So anyway, I was literally hanging with my grandkids, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm hanging with my grandkids." He said, "Dude, I got something crazy for you." I said, "What?" He said, "I became a great grandfather yesterday." How crazy is that?
That's nuts.
He's a great grandpa.
A great grandpa.
And spry, could still go out there and probably get 20 in the right league.
Yeah, and he probably is, what about, what do you think, 5'6" handicap, maybe lower?
Oh, dude, he will kick your tail at golf. I do know that.
Yeah.
I didn't ever get invited to those games because I would slow them down horribly.
Have you gone out on the course of the Rhine?
I have.
Apparently, that's no joke either.
Yeah, way back when.
When you had more money than him?
Well, that wasn't it. Isn't that what he said? No, I didn't have. I was just Ryan forever. And he actually, when we were talking earlier today, he said, "I think when we met, you had more money than I did," which is probably true.
I don't know that he said it that way, but yeah.
Honk.
He's like, yeah, okay, wait a minute, Tim.
Don't get carried away.
I'm going to give you a little bit, but let's not get crazy here.
I know it's your day, but back up a little. No, I just, I had firm plans on what I was going to do when I grew up, I guess. But I did go out with him golfing in the day, and yeah, he can wallop that thing. Just he and I at Riverside, Dude, back nine was beautiful that night.
Dude could lace it down the fairway. Huh?
Velvet came across the fairway, hitting the approach shot.
Nice. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We got a busy show. Coming up a little bit later on, our good friend Thurl Bailey will join us in about 2 hours from now. We will chat with Big T.
Tim's good friend.
Hey, we need
I was just going to say, my guy, guy Thurl.
Who are you talking with before the show?
I was talking to Thurl.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was just checking.
Kurt Helin will join us coming up in a bit.
Also, this is where it gets real.
Jay Stevens, welcome to the team. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, just past 11 o'clock. It's that time of day, by the way. Not what you think, by the way. That's an energy drink, by the way. Just wanted to.
I mean, some call it that.
I want to look. We're all about getting that sponsorship dollars. My friends at Rockstar, hey, hop on board. I am ready and willing to endorse these drinks because I go through a couple of them every day. Like I was interviewing the athletic director at Utah State, Cameron Walker, and we were doing a video thing, and before we started, and I was knocking one back. He's like, "Hey, what number is that today?" I was like, "Let's not get caught up in the semantics. It's not important." All right, joining us now, one of our favorite dudes on the planet. Oh, we do not have him yet. We will get Jay Stevens coming up here in just a second. Recap his thoughts on the NHL season and everything about the Mammoth. One thing that I guess you got to be happy about if you're a Mammoth fan is that you are not paying very close attention to the draft lottery tonight because you don't have to worry about that. That's been a big part of what's gone on the last 2 years. Well, guess what? Not anymore. No worries there because you're far and away above that. Now on Sunday for SEG, that's going to be an entirely different thing. But for the NHL lottery, no dice.
No, and it's been an interesting 2 years. A ton's happened. But I listened to Ben and Jake driving home last night, and I felt like they hit it on the head. The honeymoon phase is probably over. And you said this as well on our show yesterday. It's now it's fine-tuning to try to figure out how to advance, because they've now gotten to the playoffs. In order to win the cup, you have to advance, and you have to get really accustomed to it. I talked about the grit with the Timberwolves, much like that. You got to get after it.
So Jay Stevens will give his thoughts on that coming up here in just a moment. We'll talk to Kurt Helin in the noon hour, and then Big T, Thurl Bailey, at 1:05. Thoughts on the Jazz, the NBA playoffs overall, what's really jumped out to him. And I think, honestly, the one thing that really is fascinating is the Celtics getting bounced has really turned this thing upside down.
Totally has. And to your point, it makes New York the odds-on favorite, and especially the way they're playing so well, sharing the basketball, really scoring it, but they're defending too.
Do you like where the NBA's at in terms of the parity that's going on right now? I mean, look, Oklahoma City is still, the best team, and they'll probably win back-to-back. But the fact is that, we're in a day and age where you're not seeing those 3, 4, 5 year in a row winners. You're not seeing you're not seeing Cleveland and Golden State play for an NBA Finals, 4 out of 5 years. You're not seeing that anymore. And to me, that makes things a little bit more interesting. Other people might disagree. They think the dynasties are great for the NBA. I'd rather see a team come out of nowhere like Milwaukee or like Denver, win an NBA title, and then not hear from them again for a bit. I think that's great.
And I think the way it's structured now with the CBA and everything else, I think that's what you're going to see more of. I think it's guys are being locked up for less time, and so talent's able to travel more frequently and to different places. And it's still an advantage to be in a place like Miami to get free agents, but you see them go other places. So I do believe in a lot of ways it's opened things up.
All right, let's welcome him in. Jay Stevens, one of our favorites, host of the Utah Puck Report on KSLSports.com. Kind enough to join us. Jay, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing well. If you, I guess we're at those different levels of grief. Are you now in the acceptance stage? Like, where are you right now?
I think I'm at the acceptance stage. I'm getting excited about next year and looking at all the possibilities that the Utah Mammoth have of adding, subtracting from the roster, and just it took a minute though. It took a minute for me to get here.
Jay, what do you feel like addressing, going forward, and a lot of optimism in the locker room clean out and after the season interviews? Many guys talked about, this being hopefully a launching pad for greater things. What needs to happen? What are some things that the Mammoth can address and need to, and you think perhaps will address this offseason to make that more of a reality?
Yeah, there's a few things. One of the things they need to address is just, in my opinion, is how they addressed goaltending all year. I think Veggie played too many games. I actually asked Veggie about it too, and he's like, I don't think about how many games I'm going to play. I get ready for every game. But I think they needed to manage him a little bit better and give him some more rest. I don't think that Vanacek was the problem either. I think they just let him play games that they thought they would lose, and he didn't play as many games as he wanted to, and Veggie played a ton. So that'd be the first place I start, is rest your goalie a little bit more before you go into playoffs. If you're not chasing that final playoff spot, you should be really low managing your goaltender. And then second to that, defense just needs to get a little bit more of an understanding. They've got one of the best D cores you really could ask for in the NHL. But I saw a couple problems with, which really surprised me, is with Sergachev being more of an offensive defenseman and not really protecting the middle of the ice in his own zone, just being more of a transition defenseman. It cost Utah some goals. He scored points, but he'd end up even because he was giving them up on his own end. So I think that's another big part they need to address. And then the main part, and this isn't going to surprise anybody that I'm going to say this, is the power play.
Yes.
The power play was absolute garbage. It was -1. That's unacceptable. They scored one power play in the playoffs. It was horrible all year. I watched them try to do things to address it, but they never really addressed it. It got hot for a little while when they got that bump from putting Kerfoot in. But other than that, it wasn't effective. And you can't plan on going deep without really good special teams. So
when you look at all of that you mentioned, how much, I guess, how many alterations do you think happen, not only to the roster, but maybe some adjustments to the coaching staff? You anticipate any of that? Not necessarily by name, but just do you anticipate that there'll be a little bit of a shakeup?
I really don't anticipate there'd be much of a shakeup. There's going to be 3 or 4 players that were in the lineup last year that will be gone. And you can look at who's unrestricted next year and see what the value is in bringing them back. Really, I think there's value in bringing Ian Cole back, but I'd let Stenlin move on. We've got these young kids coming up that are just going to be so exciting to watch. So it'd be interesting to see how they do and give them a whole season to develop. And that's why you need to keep Bear. All these people, I get it. Fan base gets mad. They start screaming for the head coach's job. But that head coach is one of the best player development coaches in the NHL, and everybody knows it. And so I don't see you changing him when you got guys that are going to need development like Iginla and Boot and Baudouin. And, they just got all these young kids coming up that they really need to develop. I would like to see, and the power play has to change. So does that mean you have to change the power play coach? Or do you tell that power play coach, we're giving you another chance, but it can't just be this ineffective bumper power play that only works in practice and didn't, if you're among the worst in the NHL all year, then that's where you need to change. It's pretty obvious. And, you've got a coach that won the Stanley Cup running the power play in Forsyth. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing and he hasn't had success, but he didn't have success this year. And it's more of a, what have you done for me lately mentality, right? They're maybe not as cold-hearted as Vegas, but at some point you got to say it either the power play changes or we change you.
So when there was that moment of time near the end of the season where they caught fire on the power play, and it's like, oh, okay, they fixed it. They got it going. Was that maybe just a nice matchups? Was it just, why did we get that little mirage of hope when it comes to the power play, and then all of a sudden it went away again?
The main thing I saw that when it was working was we were getting more shots from defensemen, and you had a guy like Kerfoot and you had a guy like McBain spending a lot of time up front, maybe not in the bumper position, but in the net front position. Those are 2 very similar positions, but bumper, you're facing the goal line looking for a pass from the goal line, and net front, you're looking at the defenseman and just trying to get your breezers in the goalie's face. And I think that's when Utah saw the most success on the power play is when, Kerfoot did get a few bumper scores. He did get a few goals off the bumper, which I think is like winning when you hit on a slot machine and you're like, oh, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing then. I'll just keep putting money into it. And it doesn't work. But for me, that's what it was. You had just some more audibles going on and guys digging in and figuring it out rather than just looking for that bumper play. And Keller is the guy that can get you that puck. But typically you need to be below the net to get the bumper play. And Keller's up more on the mid boards looking for the cross crease pass to the other forward on the mid board. So just a couple tweaks like that. We saw it work for 5 games, 8 games. I think it was 8 games they had a goal, and everybody thought it was fixed, and then the wheels fell right off. So those little things work, and then the other teams make an adjustment, then you have to make an adjustment too. So it's there. The talent's definitely there to have a really good power play and to score a ton of goals, and it just needs some tweaking.
As part of the acceptance phase, are you watching the games in the playoffs every night now, or did you have to give it a break?
No, honestly,
am I kidding? You're a hockey head.
I thought I would give it a break. Just like I was out of town with my wife and kids, and then I'm home and it's my anniversary, and I'm like, all right, what do you want to watch tonight? We can watch whatever. And my wife's like, you're gonna watch playoffs. I already know it. So yeah, I'm watching every playoff game, and it's it's not as much fun without Utah in it, but it's still the NHL playoffs, and it's still the most fun you can have watching TV, I think.
One thing that's nice that you don't have to watch or pay much attention to because of the Mammoth is the draft lottery, because, the Mammoth don't have to worry about that going forward for the foreseeable future. So but in terms of the draft, just how loaded is this class upcoming?
Well, first off, thank the Lord that I don't have to worry about the draft, because my math skills after last year, and they made it more complicated this year. That meme where you got all the numbers floating around your head?
Yeah.
That was me last season trying to figure out. I'm like, I think we just won the draft. I don't know. It's just so confusing. Just put a bunch of balls in and draw it out. Let's not make it so complicated. The draft is somewhat deep this year. It's not as deep as it has been in the past. There's some really good players. I don't think you're going to see like a Nolan Schaefer or anybody walk right, or like we saw in the last couple drafts. You're not going to see somebody walk right out of the draft into the NHL this year. Maybe the first 2-3 picks, but past that, I'm not that worried about Utah missing out on anything or needing to trade up for anything. But there's some, every year there's going to be some talent. I don't think there's generational talent this year, but the draft's a crazy thing when you're picking 18-year-olds that still have a lot of development to do. You can miss out, or like we've said before, we think if we redrafted right now that Logan Cooley would go number 1 overall. So you just never know what you're going to get in the draft. But there's some good 18-year-olds. I actually have a guy that I used to play with in Idaho. His kid's supposed to be in the draft this year, so I'm probably going to end up watching it. But it's not as deep. I think Utah's going to do fine picking in the middle of the pack.
Jay, what prospects should we be the most excited about? I was looking through the list the last couple of days, and certainly some intriguing, guys. Certainly Lamoureux and his size is imposing. We talked about Rabel yesterday, the fact that he's 6'6" and actually really agile. But of all the prospects, who are you the most excited about for the future of the Mammoth?
Well, for me, there's going to be a couple surprise picks that I really think have an opportunity to have an impact on the team. Obviously, when we're looking at Iginla and you're looking at Cole Beaudoin, really has a shot at making the team this upcoming season. He's a phenomenal player. He's a big body. It's kind of what Utah needed another one of, is a big power forward. So Beaudoin is one for me, and that was the Utah Hockey Club's second first-round pick that first year after Iginla. A kid named Owen Allard had a decent year in the AHL. He has a good body. There's something to his game that I just love. He's got a real high hockey IQ. But one guy, and I've mentioned him a few times. I haven't heard anybody else really bring him up. But playing with Desnoyers is a guy named Gabe Smith, who just has that chip on his shoulder nastiness that is exactly what Utah needed for the playoffs. And if you could get a guy like Gabe Smith, get him some games in the A, so he adjusts to playing with grown men, get him in the NHL, get him 20, 30 games this year, I think he's going to surprise a lot of players, because he's a late draft. I think he was like a 4th-round pick. I should know, but I think he's a 4th-round pick, and he was drafted by the Utah Hockey Club, so he's had a couple of years to get a little bit older, and he is mean. And Utah saw it last year. He had a couple fights in the preseason, and he's just had he developed into not just being a mean guy on the ice, but he developed into a high-skill guy playing with Desnoyers up in major juniors. So that's a guy that I think can really surprise a lot of people. Desnoyers is not going to surprise anybody. He's going to come in and be phenomenal. Iginla, not a surprise. He's going to come in and be phenomenal. If those guys make the roster next year, I still see him spending a lot of time in the minors. They don't want to rush any of these guys. Bill Armstrong's very smart, very patient. He's shown Utah that he is patient. He's not going to jump the gun on anything. So Utah could have, I think Tucson's going to be unbeatable next year with all these lottery picks in there. And with Rabel and net, he's going to grow and be phenomenal. But I still think he's a 2-3 year project before he's a starter in the NHL.
All right. So this is Coach and I, this is our selfish question for you. Is there how much of a priority is Yamamoto for this front office going into the offseason?
He has to be a priority.
Yes.
They paid him $775,000 this year. You think you got less than $1 million value out of that guy? He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like give him 1.5 because he earned it this year, and that does not hurt your cap. You've got plenty of room to spend. He's shown all year. He's shown for the last 2 years. He will do what you ask him to do. He'll play anywhere in the lineup. He's phenomenal offensively. He really completed a lot of the lines he got put on, and even when he was just going into the corners, which you don't expect one of your smallest guys on the team to be the guy to go into the corners and come out with a puck. But that's what he was asked to do, so he did it. He played like I love what Moore said about Don Moore said he's 5'9", but he plays 9'5". He's just aggressive, and he's worth every penny they paid him this year. I think they got a huge value on him, and he earned it. I think he earned another 2 years.
Yes,
I'd love to see him get two, get 1.5 times 2.
I love it. All right, so I want to get your thoughts on this situation in Toronto, because I don't know if you heard that press conference. That was as brutal of a press conference as you've ever heard. And this guy has, in fact, if you missed the show yesterday, Toronto hires their new GM. He was the former GM of Arizona, now the Utah Mammoth. He has not been a general manager since 2020. He's been under a lot of scrutiny for some other activities. And imagine sitting at the podium and you've just been hired, and the guy that hired you is being asked this question about you.
Steve Simmons, Toronto Sun, for Keith. You talk about the due diligence that you did on John prior to hiring him and now hiring him. In the past, say, 3 to 4 days, I have been in contact with about 20 people who work in the National Hockey League, many of whom are prominent names that we would all know. And of the 20 people I spoke to, one was supportive of John's hiring, and the other 19 thought it was a sham, to be perfectly honest. Words were used like con artist, liar, salesman. How did you come to a different conclusion that I was able to come to in a very short time?
I must have talked to different people.
That's it? Because I'm telling you, the hockey world today is astounded by this announcement.
Okay.
And your response to that?
Is we've conducted due diligence, and it was deep due diligence. It was a thorough process, and I'm quite happy with where we've landed.
So John Shaika is the general manager, and I don't know how much of this roster for Utah that he's been responsible for. I can't imagine much. But what's the MO on this guy? Why is he just absolutely getting thrown under the bus by Toronto and the rest of the NHL media?
There were some kind of scams he was caught up in and accused of. I don't know that anything was ever proven when he was in Arizona. They actually asked him later in the presser about that, and he avoided the question completely and just said that Arizona was a trying time and that he met a lot of great people, but he ignored the accusations. It really, I follow Spitting Chicklets too, or Spitting Chicklets, and they're not happy about this hire either. In fact, Biz tore his Maple Leafs jersey off and said he's done with the Leafs because of this. So, typically the GMs are more in the background. You don't hear a lot about them. You don't know what they're doing. And with everything else that was going on in Arizona, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot of just scrambling to make things work. I mean, we heard about it with Bill Armstrong, right? Bill was talking about some difficulties. He never really comes out and says what those were, but there are times where that team was on the road and they'd have to order pizza because the team wouldn't, take him to dinner or whatever. There's just some really weird things happening in Arizona, and I'm hoping that all of that was just about that, and that this guy really is okay. Like nothing really was ever proven, but for Toronto's the craziest market. Toronto and Montreal are just insane. And for a reporter to ask that question, how upset they are. And you could hear it in that reporter's voice. He's mad about the hire because these guys are so passionate about the Leafs and they need the Leafs to be good. They haven't won a cup, since World War II. They just, I don't know. These teams they have a very passionate fan base, and to be a reporter asking that kind of question with that much passion is maybe a little definitely inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't see. I haven't heard any absolute evidence that he, had illegal recruiting, and there was some other stuff that he was, accused of. But I don't even really know what they all are. But man, yeah, Toronto,
what a mess.
Yeah, it is a mess, and I know I'm rambling a bit, but it's just I'm trying to find the words, but he can't be as bad as that reporter thinks he's going to be, and I don't think there was anybody you could have named unless you brought in Wayne Gretzky or Mark Messier, guys that basically get a free pass no matter what. Whoever Toronto hired, you weren't going to make everybody happy, and you were going to take heat from the media and heat from the fan base anyway. So hopefully John can go in there, and I've met him a couple times when I was at equipment rep. He seemed fine. Not that we can sense that out as equipment reps, but it makes me uncomfortable. Even sitting in our press conferences with the Mammoths, sometimes I hear questions that make me uncomfortable, but that was unreal. I would be surprised if Toronto yanked his credentials.
The very definition of a pointed question.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He's pointing. I'm asking you about him. And that was the craziest part. The guy was in the room. Last question from me, Jay. Icing or not icing last night? And did the Ducks take a tough L last night? I'm trying to figure out the right way to say that.
It looked to me. It did look like Eichel got the because the icing now is at hash mark, and it looked like the Eichel was at that hash mark, and the tie is supposed to go to the to the team that's being iced on. So the tie is supposed to go to the defensive team. So I thought Eichel was a little bit ahead of him. Either way, you're taught from the time you play, like the first time there's a ref on the ice, you're told to play to the whistle and then stop. There was no whistle. Anaheim should have been more ready and not just turn the puck over. You see that all the time. But play to the whistle. I thought it was really close. And it could have been icing, but it was close enough that you should have expected it not to be called and played it both ways. Defensemen should know better. You're in the NHL. You're going to play to the whistle, even if you're down 7-1, and they're going to keep trying to score, right? So the whistles are going to be the only thing that should stop you in your play.
We'll check in throughout the playoffs, but if there is a Stanley Cup final between Colorado and Carolina, can Carolina hang with the Avalanche?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're showing that they can score a lot of goals also. I don't know that you're going to see another 15-goal game.
Yeah.
But unbelievable playoff hockey right now. You can't – and for all the Utah fans that were mad that Utah couldn't protect the lead, well, you just saw the Colorado Avalanche not protect the lead. You just saw Philly not protect the lead. You just saw Carolina not protect the lead. Playoffs are crazy. Everybody's doing crazy things. But, yeah, I think the only team that really can match up with Colorado is Carolina, and I've been saying that for like 3 months now. What I am surprised of is Carolina not playing that young, hot rookie goaltender that they had that, won so many games in a row and put them in such a great playoff position. And then they go back to their old starter. That kind of surprised me. But Carolina's got depth in net. They've got depth up front. They can score 4 or 5 a game. The Avalanche have scored 10 in a game. So those are the two teams I think are going to make it. I think that makes for a really good Stanley Cup final.
Jay, you're the best, man. Appreciate it. And look forward to catching up with you again down the line.
Absolutely.
There he is, the man himself, Jay Stevens, host of the Utah Puck Report, putting a nice, tidy bow. I think we're all in a little bit of mourning, but we're now at the acceptance stage. We've gone past anger, bargaining, whatever other stages there are. But, yeah.
On that icing, by the way, can't blame it on the crowd because you'd have to have a full stadium to have that issue.
Ouch.
But
a lot of empty seats in that Vegas arena.
Yeah. I mean, that was like the hot ticket.
I know, right?
Did Utah getting an NHL team just deplete their fan base?
I think it did.
Especially after the
jersey swap, yeah.
I don't think Vegas Night fans really exist anymore.
JT the Brick does.
Oh, JT.
Did you see his diatribe?
No.
He went on the Mammoth fans and basically, attaboyed us.
Oh, really?
I'll overlook his Vegas Night stuff because he is a Raider.
Yeah, no, that's your guy right there.
That's my guy.
He is kin, Lloyd.
He is. Absolutely. Can't all be perfect.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 11:30. Good, the bad, the ugly, coming up next.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
Reed attacking. Blocked by Wembanyama, his 8th. He has tied Dwight Howard for the most blocks in a playoff half since 1996-97.
Yeah, he was a block machine last night. Now, look, Wemby would rather have a W. The San Antonio Spurs lost to Minnesota in Game 1 of their best-of-7 series. But how about 11 points, 15 rebounds, 12 block shots? That's right, 12 block shots, an NBA record for blocks in a playoff game. Had the record for most blocks in a half, pulled down 15 rebounds. But the 11 points, though, not huge from an offensive standpoint. Didn't shoot particularly well, including 0 for 3 from beyond the three-point line. And Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert both taking the brunt of that assignment and both handling him pretty well.
Yeah, the physicality really stood out to me, and that's the book right now on him. You have to get into his body, and they'll guard him with smaller guys too. But for him to go 5 for 17 and 0 for 8 from 3, man, job done. They did a great job. You almost have to make around the paint, you just got to make a big old, wall of protection, and he can't get in there. And they did a great job. You saw one play. He drove somebody and tried to spin back. There was a guy right there in the gap. I think it was Clark. Jalen Clark took the ball from him. But they did a great job team-wise keeping Wemby in check and using physicality to impact his ability on the offensive end.
On the defensive side, though, just a historic performance. And, look, this guy is just scratching the surface of what he's going to become.
Oh, totally. He's
scary.
He's still in his infancy in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I remember the very first Summer League game he played, and he looked like a baby deer. He was just out there getting knocked around, and it's crazy how much stronger he is, but he's still working at developing strength. And one of the things he goes through before every game, he has a assistant coach darn near assault him, trying to knock him off balance, because that's the game for him. If his feet can be on the floor, and if he can be strong with his lower body, he can get anywhere he wants to on the floor.
How did you ever draw that assignment on like Eric Mika or something like that, where you had to do the bags and create the contact? Or because I can't imagine that would have been a lot of fun on your end.
Yeah, I wasn't much of. We had Pope was there for a good amount of it, and he did most of that. If I was good to hit a pad, one of those pads you can swing, those cylinder pads.
Like
that was my job.
Like the water weenie things?
I try to whack them over the head on the arm as they score it, just.
Pool noodle, yeah. I think that's what they're called.
What'd you call it?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's not important.
The water.
Jeez, yeah. I don't know what you were playing with.
Wow. All right. I think that was not cool on your part.
I used a pool noodle. I don't know.
All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
All right. John Rahm wants to get out, right? The LIV is dying. It's on his last breath. They're counting pennies to try to keep this thing going. And John Rahm would probably love nothing more than to jump ship and go to the back to the PGA Tour. But he said, I have multiple years left on my contract with LIV, and I don't see many ways out. Here he goes. Here's the exact quote. Right now, I have several years on my contract. I'm pretty sure they did a pretty good job when they drafted that, so I don't see many ways out. He's saying the Saudis have good lawyers, apparently?
Ironclad.
Right now.
They don't need lawyers.
Yeah. Right now, their thing is if you leave, somebody comes to your house.
I'm just going to say bad things. What?
I'm here. I'm not leaving.
You want out, you can try.
Yeah. Right now, I'm not really thinking about it because I'm scared to death of these people. No, he said. Right now, I'm not really thinking about it because we still have a season to play and majors to compete for. It's not something I want to think about just yet because I do enjoy my legs and I would like to keep them.
And unlike Van Gogh, I want to have both ears.
Yes.
Just put a new security system on my house, by the way.
Yeah, this is a bad deal, and I don't feel bad for the LIV guys at all.
Dude,
not one bit.
He received $300 million.
Yeah, he's fine.
So if he has to go, he can't playing on the tour, he can go just wear shorts and play with the rest of us.
Go buy your own course.
Just make sure you follow the right direction.
Yeah, exactly.
You
don't
mess it up like the Angels.
You don't want Kevin White coming after you. Poor
I mean,
kid.
if it's your course, you can do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
What did Kevin end up doing? Did he back off?
No, he stuck to his guns, and the Angels apparently, I don't know. We may have to call Kevin, get the story specifically, but and frankly, I don't even know if I was supposed to share that on the air. But what are you going to do? But I think that he told the Angels what's up, and they said, "Oh, our bad," and then they reversed course. And
cool. That's what I would expect.
Yeah.
It's like, we were just caught up chatting about 14 draft prospects.
Yeah.
When we're playing today.
That wouldn't have happened with Crew. Crew would have kept him on the straight and narrow. But Austin and Danny just.
Oh, and Crew would have fought.
Yeah, no, Crew would have turned around and said, "Oh, you got a problem? Then let's go."
Crew came out when Jake Toolson was on his recruiting visit, and they're cousins. So you get all those guys together, and it's mayhem. But it was around the 4th of July, and they were all around BYU campus hanging around. And so they stopped by, and next thing I know, bottle rockets are flying over my house, and Crew's laying prone out in the middle of the street like he's, shooting.
So Crew shot bottle rockets over your house?
Yeah, he was shooting them here, there, and everywhere.
Oh, boy.
I walked into that one, didn't I?
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I'm already in trouble for a phrase where I talked about a pool accessory that apparently is not the right term.
Yep, pool noodle.
All right, so yeah, I think that these live guys, I don't have any kind of feel bad for them at all. Look, you gave up your legacy or any kind of history that you had when you took the money, and that's fine. Take the money. Look, if somebody offered me and I was in your situation, all that money, I'd have a hard time saying no. I'm not even hating on you, but you did know that you were going to sacrifice something when you took that money, and now you want your cake and eat it too. And sorry, you got your money, but I wouldn't really welcome a lot of these guys back with open arms if I'm the PGA, even if they could get out of their contracts. It's like, you kind of, I think you need to sit out a while before we welcome you back.
It looks like they will. Unless that whole thing dissolves and then contracts become.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm sure they're hoping for is that whole thing shuts down.
But right now, not only is there a reason, money-wise to stay, but there's also the threat of breaking the contract.
And you don't break contracts with those guys.
As an aside,
just wants to see somebody break the contract just to see what happens.
Just as an aside, because I've always called them, pool noodles as well, but I've heard other terms. So I wanted to find another one, and I figured
I think we got it now.
This is actually it's a water wiggler.
Oh, really?
That's
what it's called?
Yeah.
Well, I think the other thing that you talked about is that thing that's pulled on the end of a boat that has a lot of people that ride on it.
Is what I said?
That's called
a water weenie.
Yeah, a water weenie.
All right.
I believe.
Okay. I'd known I'd heard that term before, but apparently that was not.
But the other thing in the pool, no, that's definitely
a pool noodle.
Let's get to the ugly because I don't want to get fired after 12 days. We're messing around with a word.
See, that's the thing. But you know what the good thing is? When you're a host, it's the producer that gets fired. And then if the producer's the PD, then it's then Alex has to fall on the sword. So it just that's how it works. So you'll be okay for the first little bit.
He's already on thin ice with all the Santana. So.
And no, I was just going to say, I love Alex, but I would miss the Santana as much as I miss him.
All right. Maybe we should just bail on the segment. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. There you go. Good, the bad, the ugly right here on the Zone.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Cougars and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Kurt Helin's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes from right now, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. Remember, on Thursday, you and I are going to be out and about at Minky Couture. 48 hours from now, we will be in Layton at the Minky Couture location up there. And right now, you got Mother's Day coming up. Don't screw it up, folks. Don't be that guy. Don't be a moron. Give her comfort she'll feel every single day. Now enjoy the Mother's Day special, 50% off any regularly priced blanket with the code ZONE50. So just go to any Minky Couture location. Say, I heard it on the Zone. I heard Scott and Coach talking about it. I need my 50% off. I need to save my marriage. And they will hook you up with a blanket from Minky Couture. You turn around and then give that to your wife, your mother, whatever, the mothers in your life, whether you've got daughters, whatever the case is, and hand that over, and you will be a hero for Mother's Day. It's that simple. Minky Couture, let's go.
I filled in up there one time.
Oh, did you?
During Mother's Day, in fact, yeah.
Nice.
I can't remember who it was with you or Hans, but one of you were gone, so I remember sitting up there and doing the show.
Yeah. Sandy's awesome.
She's incredible. What a business.
Her story is unreal. Daughter's in the hospital, so she wants to make a blanket for her. She does, and then all the nurses are like, wow, that's a great blanket. So she makes more, and then all of a sudden, a few years later, boom, she's got herself a blanket empire on her hands.
And I couldn't be more happy for people like that.
I know.
It's awesome.
It really is. All right, so again, we'll be up there on Thursday. Make sure to stop by and say hi. By the way, Sean Miller, head coach, now at where's Sean at now?
Sean is currently now he just got a new gig.
Oh, he's at Texas. That's right.
Texas.
I know it was Xavier and then back to Xavier. Like, he's been around a bit, but now he's at Texas. He said, I think he told Jeff Goodman this, that next year he anticipates there will be 20 teams in Division I college basketball that have a $20 million or more roster. 20 teams that'll be $20 million or more on their roster spend. I mean, I don't know when, like, eventually we all think that this is going to be like the housing bubble of 2008. Like, eventually this thing's going to burst. I just don't see it happening. It just keeps climbing and climbing.
If nobody's going to stop it, why would anybody stop it? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's right now it's for the power teams, and that's changed. It's not necessarily the same group. You see a lot of Power Fives that are scrambling, trying to figure out, now that it's all out in the open, how do we get our guys? So it's it doesn't surprise me. We talked early on about NIL being 50,000, 100,000 on a big case, but this is open Pandora's box. And as always with money, it's hard to put that stuff back. Once a number hits a certain point, hey, you paid him that much? Well, I'm worth more than him, right? So every year it seems like that thing will climb, and until it gets some sort of reins or guardrails put on it, it will continue to probably be hurtful too.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle Whittingham said he thinks football rosters for some of these teams, I'm sure his Michigan team included, will be pushing $50 million. And yeah, I don't see why not. And the amount that this money is escalating is just getting out of hand. I remember sitting down with Blake Anderson. He was the football coach at Utah State at the time, and SMU had just mentioned that they were going to pay their athletes, like every student athlete was going to get like $32,000.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
And he's like, I can't compete with that. And we added up the total, and it was like going to be like $1.5 million. And he's like, we can't come up with that kind of money. Well, now Utah State's got 2 players on their basketball team that's making that or more. And so, if I'm a player out there, I'm like, okay, well, you can come up with the money because you have come up with the money. So we're going to continue to ask for more. And as long as you keep paying us more, we're going to keep asking for more. And it's just going to keep going up and up and up.
And the rev share component's been a big piece of that, right?
Yeah.
Because that added to it. But yeah, man, it's crazy how fast it's accelerating. And it's competitive. And so everybody's trying to get what they can, take what they can. We heard Alex Jensen talk about it the other day. There's not a lot of rules. There is a lot of gray area, and in some cases you just have to go do it and ask forgiveness later. But there really doesn't seem to be any sort of enforcement. So the end, I don't know where it ends, Scotty. I don't know but ultimately it's got to take on some sort of model that can be sustainable outside of just, money being thrown at the university.
Yeah, and that's going to be the, multi-million-dollar question is once you get to a certain point, how can you put caps on it? It's like, look, baseball is going to undergo a massive work stoppage. Like this thing, like there are people out there that really want to rework the whole model of Major League Baseball. These owners are tired of the Dodgers spending more than everybody else. They're making everybody spend more because they've got to keep up with them. And so they're like, hey, we need something to protect us from ourselves. And so you might see, close to an entire season being lost next year in Major League Baseball. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. It's one of the most under-talked about stories in sports right now is that you will see massive work stoppage in baseball. And if I'm like the Millers and I'm anticipating getting a baseball team, I'm all for this. Because if there's something in place, it's going to help you be competitive from a financial standpoint if it's a model more like the NFL. And so owners are dying for this. They want it. And the players desperately do not want it. And so, yeah, you're going to see some ugliness going on. And I don't know if we'll ever see that in college athletics, but it might have to come to that for any of this to ever slow down.
Yeah, and it's crazy you mentioned baseball because in reality, every year you've got your outliers. But for the most part, there's probably 6 or 7 teams that actually have a shot at winning. Everybody else is just trying to figure out how to make money.
Yep.
And keep paying everybody. It is straight an entertainment business. And, for some like the Red Sox, they decided not to spend a bunch of money this year. And, they're absolutely getting shelled. They're 14-21. So the bottom line is it's the same with college. If you want to be successful, you have to spend the money. And where that money ends up, and where contracts end up, where salary cap comes into the equation, that's all what we're going to live through.
You don't miss it one bit, do you?
I'm so glad I'm sitting here with you and Lloyd today. But I did see the winds a blowing.
Yeah.
They say be mindful, head on a swivel. Definitely the winds were blowing. So I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah. It was a freight train coming pretty quick. I think everybody's surprised by how quickly it came together, but not necessarily surprised by the fact that we got here. And this could have been avoided had the NCAA just kept up with the times a bit.
Yeah, just been proactive and not trying to govern things in the year 2000 like it was 1948.
Yeah, because, eventually it was going to go, somebody was going to sue, and somebody was going to absolutely wreck everything. And it took a while, but once it did, then the floodgates just opened up.
Yeah, and now, there's no way to corral it. It's completely, it was so interesting listening to a head college basketball coach basically saying, I'm not really sure if that, it's crazy now compared to what it was so buttoned up and you knew exactly what you could and couldn't do. But now it's the Wild West.
So I'm sure that when you're out on the recruiting trail, especially if you're in on a high-level kid, that there would be some mention of well, guess what? This team in the SEC is offering this and this. What can you guys do? And you're like, nothing. That's not how we operate. We're not going to get caught up in that stuff. And I think most schools were that way, but there were schools that were fast and loose, and you can identify who they probably were pretty easily. But the fact that they opened it up, because I hear a lot of people players were always getting paid. Some were, not a lot, but some were. But now that everybody can pay, now you got a team like BYU said, okay, these are the rules. All right, we'll play by the rules. We can pay guys. All right, we're going to jump in on this. And we got tons of boosters ready to pay good money. So now BYU enters the fray. A lot of other schools enter the fray, and that just drives up the price. So you got teams like, I don't know, hypothetically Duke or whatever school out there that's a little fast and loose with the payments. They could get a kid for $80,000, $90,000 because he didn't have a lot of options. Now he has tons of options. You got to find a way to pay him $5, $6, $7 million. And
you're competing straight in real time, or so you think, right?
Yes.
That's the other piece of this. You're not dealing with real reputable agents, so they've got a stake in the game, so they're going to try to drive the price up. I mean, the whole thing, the system is absolutely insane. It's basically day-by-day inflation with it because as you say, there's so many ways to bounce this around, and if a guy's really looking for the biggest deal, and has an agent that it's going to push, money can be just absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yep. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, we'll talk a little NBA hoops, get the thoughts on the early round of the playoffs with Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com. He'll join us next right here on The Zone.
It's high noon up and down the Wasatch Front, and Scotty and the coach are just getting started.
BYU and Utah State announcing a 2-game series. Game 1, Utah State, BYU, December 9th in the Marriott Center. Game 2, Logan, right? Nope, just a little south in the Delta Center. BYU gets out of the trip to Logan, and they will go to the Delta Center instead.
The positive side, I love when these two teams play.
I do too.
This thing has changed a bunch. What it was when I got to BYU was 1 year in Provo, 1 year in Logan, and you just alternate. The crazy thing is Dave proposes Provo, Logan, and then the third in Delta Center, and thought that would be a good thing for everybody, and learned very quickly no, that was not a good thing. And actually, he had people would come up to him in the grocery store from Logan and say, "That's really awful what you did to the Aggies."
Wow.
Oh yeah, man. I can imagine that this will not land well.
What's wrong with my chicken?
This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb, and joining us as he does every week throughout the NBA season, into the playoffs, and even into free agency as well. Kurt Helin from NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com, honorary third member of this show. Kurt, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm honored to be honorary.
Yes.
I feel like I'm getting a degree from Harvard. Or something.
Yeah, it's like there was a former football player that came back and gave the commencement speech at Utah State, and he goes, "Well, I guess everybody calls me doctor now because that's what they've given me." And he's like, "Yeah, kind of."
It's technically a doctor.
Yes. Hey, how impressed? Look, everybody likes to throw the NBA current athlete under the bus, say they're soft. And our generation, we grew up in the 80s and 90s and watched, the bad boys and watched the Jordan rules, and everybody rough each other up, and everybody played through pain. And now we're like, oh, where's that player now? Well, it might be Anthony Edwards, because I'm sure there were a lot of doctors telling him not to go. His agent probably told him not to go, but he went, played well, and it was a big win last night for Minnesota.
Yeah, he was able to get medically cleared, so it was good enough that he could manage the pain enough to be out there, a bone bruise. In some ways that's, it's not that there's other structural stuff in there, but it's somewhat about pain management. He just being out there, 18 points, second most on the team, but his boost emotionally, but also their pick and roll just looks better when he runs it, right? There's certain things that just look much smoother when he's the guy doing it. And he sparked them that's a defensive battle. Those are two really good defensive teams. Points are going to be hard to come by. And if you've got the guy who can make it easier for you, that's just a huge plus.
We were talking earlier about the Knicks. Do you feel like the Knicks are pretty much have a clear path right now to the finals out of the East?
I think the winner of that series does. I mean, you've watched it, Coach. Detroit and Cleveland don't seem to be on the same level right now, right? And Cleveland has the talent, but I'm actually going to need to see it function.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Before I fully buy in. So I think whoever comes out of that, I think you're going to get a much better Philadelphia team. They look gassed by the first quarter. Just the Game 7 hangover played 2 days later. The whole thing was kind of, and he noted on the broadcast last night, Embiid's now played 5 straight games, and he hasn't played 6 straight games since 2023.
Wow.
So physically, he's still trying to catch up. And it's every other day. And I think there's 1-2 day break late in the series potentially, but they're going to have to find a way to get their legs under them and perform better. I think you'll get a better game out of them in Game 2, but man, the Knicks are rolling. And again, Coach, I'd love to get your thoughts. I love that they finally started playing through Karl Anthony Towns as a hub, kind of in a high post, and they're cutting off of him, and he's making passes. He can score, obviously. He's a great shooter, but they're using him as a hub as opposed to all the isolation stuff, and they just look so much better.
Yeah, that's where he really thrives, I think, is, he's not a guy who's going to back you down. He doesn't necessarily love physicality, although he has gotten tougher, I feel, in his time with the Knicks. But you're exactly right. You put him in the center of the floor, where there is no designated help side, and you send cutters through, his ability to pass the ball. And then he's become really great, with handoffs and that sort of thing. That's a new iteration of the game the last, 5 or 6 years, playing off those so much. So I'm with you. I think he in space and facing the basket is where he does his best work.
Yeah, it only took them like 86 games to get there, but they kind of got it.
They should have watched some of that Timberwolves film. It was all out there for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you anticipate the Western Conference and seeing how that thing is playing out right now, Minnesota is just, they're just playing tougher than everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you've got San Antonio with a elite performance defensively from Wemby, but offensively, Rudy gets into him a little bit. You got Julius Randle causing him some problems as well. How concerned are you on the offensive side if you're San Antonio against the Timberwolves?
A little bit. I mean, first off, the Randall kind of slightly smaller but really physical guys have long given Wemby challenges. Like that's the guy he hasn't necessarily completely figured out yet. At 22, we should write him off, I guess. But like they did a good job, but he was also 0 of 8 from 3 and had some good looks. De'Aaron Fox shot terribly. The physicality kind of messed with them a little bit, but I think this is the experience learning thing, right? Like Minnesota has been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. This is a battle-tested team who came out and was ready to go at a playoff level, especially with Edwards back. And the Spurs are going to have to learn how to get there. Dylan Harper looked great off the bench. That guy is – I could not be a bigger Dylan Harper fan. But I think they learn over the series. I've got to say, I picked the Spurs in 7 if Edwards was back. I did a dual prediction because I think it's a really even series. So that's going to be interesting. And then on the flip side, Oklahoma City, I don't want to say they get to coast through, but they are going to be a little more comfortable on their side.
You mentioned the Cavs and the Pistons. I watched the Cavs game 7, and I was actually a little bit in shock at how casual they had approached the game 7 early, but they were able to kind of flip it. Do you feel like the Pistons can just kind of overpower the Cavaliers with their physicality, and that will be enough in this series?
Yeah, I think they're going to need a big series from like Jared Allen and Mobley, right? Like they're going to need that inside presence as well, and not too many disastrous Harden games. But I still think the problem with Detroit's as constructed is what we kind of knew, right? That it's a one-man show. It is a one-man show, and if it's just that, it's like Giannis before they kind of broke through the year they had Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton playing like an Olympian and all that. Like if it's just one guy, I can make life really difficult for you, and Detroit's got to find that second guy consistently.
So you blow a 3-1 advantage and you get fired if you're the head coach of Orlando. You look at what Billy Donovan's been up to and what he's turned down and then what he's walked away from. It's hard not to think that this might, especially if he gets the job, that the wheels were in motion long before they blew that 3-1 deficit.
It would not be shocking. I mean, there's no tampering in the NBA.
No,
obviously,
no,
none, zero. But,
no, especially in Portland. But yeah,
no, exactly. But there is some logic there, and Donovan it's the name everybody's been putting up. He got a lot out of. He goes back to Florida and actually keeps the job this time in Orlando. Because remember, in 2007, he took the job, did the press conference, did the whole thing, and like 6 days later, it's like, yeah, I want to go back to Florida. I'm out. And walked away. He gets a lot out of his guys. His teams tend to defend. He wanted to be in a situation where he was coaching in meaningful games again, and Orlando is certainly that. So I think from the outside for me, that just seems like the best choice if you're going to do what it appears they're going to do, which is keep Banchero, keep Wagner, keep the core of this team together, and run it back.
Draft lottery is looming.
Yes.
And we don't love to talk about that around here. We tried to, dish it up with karma and do all the right stuff, but I think not ignoring it, but just, can't downplay it either, but we're just not going to give it a ton of attention. You got to think the math's got a math for the Jazz at some point, don't you?
You would think so. You would hope so. They deserve it. I will also like Zach Harper over at The Athletic has been running a thing this week where every day he's going to Tankathon, which is the best place to find all your lottery odds. And they have a, randomizer that essentially like uses the odds and just runs the lottery once. So he's just doing it once every day and saying what he got. Dallas won today, by the way.
Boy, that
really well.
You know what? The way that the NHL is taken off in popularity here, and the Jazz are struggling. If Dallas wins the lottery and the Jazz are down at 7-8,
it would be
there might be a lot of fans checking out at that point.
We'll see. That one year, one of the two Utah fell to like 5 or 6, maybe. I forget off the top of my head. And one of them, they think they came in third or fourth. But it's when you flatten the odds, as they've done and are about to do again, you invite the randomness and you open the door for the longer odds to jump through. I'm hoping. I really want to see Utah at the top because I also think that Utah and frankly Washington's sort of in the same boat. They've done a really good job of setting up what's next. If just a little lottery luck, and suddenly you are in a very, very good position.
Kurt Helin joining us, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. Just what kind of ramifications and just how shocking was that Boston loss, blowing that 3-1 lead?
I was pretty stunned, and they didn't have Tatum in the game 7, but I expected them to be much better, and they got exposed by a physical team, right? Like they got pushed around a little bit. They just didn't have an answer for Embiid and Keita, who was good all season. Frankly, looks like a solid NBA starting / rotation center. Like looks just good. But Joel Embiid, when he's playing like that, is not good. And they didn't really have an answer. They didn't have the depth. And the other thing is, I think there's something to the argument that Joe Mazzulla's heavy three-point style can get a team in trouble in a playoff series if they get a little cold, which is what happened here. And not having Tatum, who was the guy who would just, even more than Brown, can just get downhill and get into be like, hey, all right, that's not working. Let's just get some buckets at the basket, and kind of changes that dynamic. Not having him hurt them, but to use an old Chick Hearn Laker line, they couldn't throw a pea in the ocean. Like they couldn't make a bucket for the life of them from 3. And if you're taking 49 of them, you better make a lot of them, man.
Do we need to add Minnesota to a list of? I mean, all year long I've said that they're not contenders, but they're playing like it. And I do believe whoever comes out of the West is going to win this thing. But it looks like, certainly the Spurs and the Thunder have had great battles. But, man, the Spurs have got to get through the Wolves. And the Wolves would like another crack at the Thunder, I'm sure.
I'm sure they would. And the thing with Minnesota, when you watched them this season, they looked bored or just disinterested in the regular season for 80% of those games. There were games during the regular season that you would get at a couple points. I saw it in person once when the Lakers were kind of rolling. Like they're like, all right, let's get this serious. And when they showed up and were serious, you're like, oh, there's that team. There's Naz Reid off the bench, and everything that works for them looks so good. And then they just kind of they were just coasting a little bit. And boy, they haven't been coasting now, and they look like the team they're supposed to look like. And it's impressive. And I think they have like I said, I thought I had the Spurs in 7, which means I think this is a really tight series. There's a decent chance they move on and get their crack at the Thunder. And I don't know that goes as well as they'd hope, but they could get their crack at them, and they're playing well.
Well, we saw that group twice this year. The Jazz lost to the Timberwolves 147-111 on March 18th. And then in the in-season tournament, 137-97. So, yeah, we saw that locked-in group twice.
Yeah, when they're locked in, look, they made the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years for a reason, and they have that matchup versatility. They're big and they're physical, but with Edwards, especially when he's healthy, but with McDaniels, McDaniels is as good a perimeter defender as there is in the league. They can throw a lot of different things at you.
So, Kurt, if you're running that Nuggets organization, is it do you tear it down and rebuild with Jokic, or how do you handle a situation that seems like it's gotten away from him?
Oh, I'd trade Jokic and just blow the no.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to be banned from Dell. I think you keep Murray personally, but you, with all due respect to Aaron Gordon at this point, like you're going to have to find another shot creator on the wing or something else. You've got, man, look, the Murray Jokic fastball is fantastic, but you got to have an off speed pitch, right? You can't just throw the fastball every time up. And there just didn't seem to be enough diversity. They really miss Aaron Gordon when he's not out there and at like 100% because he's so much glue for them. And then look, if they when they re-sign Peyton Watson as they should,
yeah.
Now they're into the second apron. Like this is a really expensive team right now. And that's not an ownership group that's into that. So they've got some real work to do to find a way to improve that roster. Well, they weren't in the tax this year. They might go into it next year, but they're not going to spend a ton. And you're going to have to find a way I think they're going to try to trade Christian Brown. I think that you're going to see them try to make some bold moves. And I'm not sure, like the Jamal Murray thing is out there. I think it would take a pretty spectacular deal to make that happen.
Kurt Helin joining us, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. When you look at the games coming up and you've got the Lakers and Thunder coming up, Lakers, obviously, nice round one victory. How much of a series do they make against the Thunder here?
Get your bets in early.
Gentleman sweep.
That's what I predicted. If you told me it was a sweep, I wouldn't be shocked. Look, I saw them play each other twice in person, and there's just a distinct talent gap. Like it's not close. There is a real level of talent gap. The only thing that I think could get them a couple of games would be Luka Doncic, and he's by all accounts not close yet. He's not running much on the court. Like he's not doing any kind of on-court work that implies he's close to a return from a hamstring. And I'm not sure they're going to be around long enough with the plethora. That's a great word.
Nice.
With the plethora of defenders that the Thunder can throw at you, because it's Cason Wallace and Dort start, and they bring Caruso off the bench. And if you get past them, by the way, you've got to run into Holmgren in the middle blocking shots. Like they're just so good defensively, so deep, and so disciplined as a team that it's just, I don't know how the Lakers are going to score enough to make this a series.
Do you like the hire Dallas made a general manager? Seems like they've got an adult in the room now.
Yeah, exactly. And somebody that I think ownership there is getting smarter, and that they've made a couple of big smart hires lately, and that's there's a learning curve from owners about not being isolated and not listening to one voice, because you make kind of foolish mistakes.
If that voice is Adam Silver making you do it, but no. Sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad.
So the bad part out loud.
Yeah.
Exactly. But they, I think that they've gotten better about this. Also, it's a pure sign for the Mavs fans out there. No, they're not selling. The Adelmans are hanging on to this thing because whatever the next develop. Look, this is a real estate deal for them long term, but they'll wait out the one they want. So this isn't going anywhere. And you bring Masai Ujiri, a really smart GM, they've got Cooper Flagg. You've got a really good coach. You've got in Jason Kidd, you've got some nice role players. Like you've got something to start building around. You get a lottery pick wherever it falls this year, and you start to move forward. You trade Anthony Davis. You've traded Anthony Davis. You start to move forward in a way that look, you see what it looks like next year. You've got Kyrie Irving, and you can decide between the two of you guys what you want to do with him. But they're in position to be really good in a few years because they've got the hardest piece to get. They've got.
Well, Kurt, we appreciate it as always, man. You're the best. Thanks for hanging out with us, and let's do it again next week.
I'll see if I can squeeze it in.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Same time, my guy.
Take care, guys.
There he is. Kurt Helin, one of our favorites right here on The Zone.
Would you say I have a
Plethora.
of piñatas? A what? Plethora. Oh, yes. You have a plethora.
I do not think you know what that word means.
Yes, I have a plethora.
Oh, I need to watch that. It's been too long.
That's what I gave Alex some homework. I said, you need to watch Three Amigos.
He hasn't
That
seen
is amazing.
Of course he hasn't.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Have you?
I've seen Dusty Keys. No. What's his name?
Dusty Bottoms?
Dusty Bottoms.
You talking about Rusty Keys?
I
the
know.
Chiefs
I was
fan?
just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Dusty Bottoms and
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember
Ned.
Dusty Bottoms.
Ned Flanders.
Needle Nose Ned. Well, that's a crossover of movies right there. All right.
I got it. It's Lucky Day, Dusty Bottoms, and Ned Niederlander.
Ned Niederlander.
Good pull. I thought you were going Groundhog Day on me.
No.
No, I knew one of them was Ned.
No.
And I forgot the other.
I knew the guy's name was Ned. I just couldn't remember, but it was Niederlander. That made it even more funny.
Yeah. All right, 12:25. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, coming up in about 30 minutes. The great Thurl Bailey will classy up this joint. We need him to come in and save us from ourselves. It's all right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Coach Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Hope you're all having a great day today. I know I am. By the way, sorry, Lloyd, I just my dock just closed on me. But we're giving away tickets.
That good old dock that closes sometimes.
It does.
I know. I didn't say anything about it.
And I'm not saying it's the dock's fault. It's my fault. I just yeah. So because Lloyd's like, you have to read this right now, and I'm like, okay. And then I was going to, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
It's like, oh hey, I got this email's in my drafts. Thought I sent it. Sorry.
Like,
I could have swore I sent this.
I missed this. I missed that text.
I went to type send. And actually, I typed this out, and somebody called me. Sorry.
Yeah,
I thought I sent it.
I thought I hit send. Anyway, but you know what? While you waited, I've got you taken care of. Caller number 12 right now. I will give you 4 tickets. Not front row. I'm going to put you in a suite. That's how good these tickets are. 4 tickets to a suite at the Utah Royals versus Houston. Wednesday, May 6th, that is tomorrow, 8 p.m., America First Field. If you want the suite experience, call 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. And you, my friend, will get those suite tickets. Not just suite tickets, but
like
actually
sweet
in
tickets.
a suite. Sweet tickets.
Painless.
Yes. All right. Is our guy there by chance? He is. You know what? So I all this this storm is brewing on Twitter. Everybody's mad. Utah State fans are mad. BYU fans are mad about something. I don't know. Everybody gets mad on Twitter these days. And I see our guy JT. He's in the middle of it because it's Twitter, and JT always gets in the middle of things on Twitter, which is why he's a must follow. And I love that guy to death. And I said, hey, Coach, I bet JT will join us this next segment. And you called him up, and sure enough, joining us now, the great Jonathan Tavernari. How are you, JT?
Anything and everything for the guy sitting next to you, Scotty. He
caramba.
knows it. He knows it. His wife knows it. His children know it. And anything and every time he calls, I will absolutely answer.
Would you answer my calls if I were to call out of the blue?
I mean,
debatable.
Is there a head-made pen that comes with that, Scotty?
He brings up that pen. I will get you. You know what? My boy and I have been back in the shop knocking them out some. So you will have some by the next 2 weeks. I will make sure you have a beautiful handmade pen.
I'm holding you to that now.
No, I will.
And while you're making him one, I need one. Get over that lathe. Right? It's a lathe.
This is not going how you expect it, Scotty.
No, that's all right though. I got to make up for lost time. All right, so Utah State, BYU playing not a game in Logan, but a game in Provo next year. Then in the Delta Center. Your first thoughts when you saw that as a guy that's been a big part of this rivalry?
Yeah. So first things first, super excited, right? Nothing but great respect for Utah State. Their program, coming from the university and the support of the fans with so many coaching changes in the last few years, nevertheless, they're still delivering. And I think that's a testament to their fans and to the environment that they've created, the expectations that they have set in Logan, right? And so excited for that. Second is, in this day and age, and Timmy, I just don't remember a ton of this from our time at BYU, mainly because you guys would just tell us, hey, go win a game and stop worrying about everything else, and nothing else will matter if we win games. But I feel like in the last 10 years, 15 years, the whole thing of quad 1 win, quad 2 win, and net rankings, and this type of stuff, I feel like that has taken on a life of itself that, in all honesty, I didn't have to deal with. And so when BYU looks, and again, I'm speaking from just conversations that I've had with folks around the BYU program, when BYU looks at playing a game at Utah State, is there just as much of a value to them for on the metrics as there is let's go play a game at Madison Square Garden, or let's go play a game at an NBA arena in Oklahoma City. And so I just don't know, in the day and age of today, in the metrics and the way that you use things for recruiting, if a game in Logan is as valuable as a game as an NBA arena. And so, as a BYU guy, I appreciate that they're taking a look at that, because at the end of the day, the metrics are important today. But, as someone that loves the state of Utah, someone that, got his ass kicked in Logan, and someone that, very much, I talk a lot of trash to Utah State because I was 2-1 against them, but the spanking I got in Logan, I remember. And, the whole winning team, losing team, and right, left. When I found out, I respect those guys. And, I think it's a great university. And so kind of a bittersweet, right? Because you would wish you had a home and home, but happy that the game is going to be played nonetheless.
Was that the game we started Zylstra at the point?
No, Brock didn't play a ton that game. This is the game that we went in and nothing was working. Ty Wesley was a junior. They had a couple of other guys there, and I think I shot like 1 for 12 or something like that. And Jimmer didn't have a good game. Neither did Jackson. We were trying to figure out with Tyler coming off the bench, and they just played well, and they had a good team, and they went to the NCAA tournament that year. So it's not like we waltzed in there, playing a bunch of scrubs. They were good that year.
What are you? That's one memory, but like what stands out to you when we used to go up there? The game environment, anything, where we stayed, any of that stuff that may be fun to tell.
Yeah. So I will say this,
and legal.
Okay, so I won't mention that half of the stuff I was going to do it. So, okay. So just a great college environment. You know what I mean? As soon as you pull up, you pulled up with the bus, fans were lining up. The way that the arena very much reminded me of the pit, right? The way that it was just kind of going down a little bit is an incredible vibe. The student section, incredible. They were very organized. Whatever was the guy that used to be dressed with a tongue and
Wild Bill,
yeah. Wild Bill and the curtain, right? And it was the beginning of the year, and it was a big game for us, a big game for them. Because of everything we did over their summers, Timmy, and you remember how I used to organize pickup, became really close with Ty Wesley. Tyler Newbold, which is someone that we recruited at BYU, but ultimately ended up at Utah State, is a very dear, close friend of mine. And so just a lot of fun memories, but probably my favorite memory was the game that we had at Energy Solutions my junior year. And, it was a big game. We were ranked 24th in the country. We needed a win to stay in the top 25. I ended up having a really good game. Had to make a few free throws in a row in the end of the game to seal the deal. And that was also the last weekend that I never knew my wife, because on Monday I met my wife after that game. On Tuesday, we had our first date. Wednesday, the first kiss. Thursday, our second date. And Friday, I asked Kiri to marry me. So the game at Energy Solutions was the last time that I was a single man.
All right. Wait. Okay. All right.
That was a little too much at the end.
No.
Thanks.
All right. No. So Monday, you met. Wednesday, first kiss. Friday, second date. And then you proposed on the 6 days after meeting?
Right out there on the side of the court by the old pit.
Yeah. So I met her on Monday. Tuesday, we had our first date. Wednesday, we had our first kiss. Thursday, we had our second date. And then Friday, I asked her to marry me. So,
5 days. Okay. All right.
Yes. Yep.
Wow. And she said yes.
And we've been together ever since. And the LaCombs have been front row for every single part of it.
So when JT comes, he's like, "Hey, coach."
I saw that happen.
Yeah, like this was right in front of you.
Yeah, I saw him get down on a knee. Yeah, and I was like, didn't he just meet her? All right. I mean, hey, dude, he was always ready to shoot the shot.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's the thing.
You see an open shot, you understand what, he knew who she was because she is fantastic. So he got lucky in that regard.
Hey, now we got Coach here. Give us keep him FCC approved here, but what are your favorite Coach stories?
Oh, no.
My first one of it all is I didn't know who he was. There's two stories that I'll tell you. The first one is I didn't know who he was, and I remember afterwards, but my freshman year, he was still with the staff at the U, and he was talking to Walter Ruiz, who is the coach that helped me come to America, right? And I remember just going to half court and just kind of getting a backhanded compliment of like, hey, you're kind of a little weird when you were at Timview, but you just got done killing us. You're a great player. And I was like, do I take him or tell him to go to hell? Like I didn't know where to go with this. And so that was another one. That was the first that I was like, wait, I remember this guy. But the second one was, I've always loved kids, like I moved to America when I was 16. I was a big kid inside, and and Timmy had just been hired, and we knew he was hired, but we didn't know when he was starting. And I'm at the BYU basketball camp, and I am literally I'm probably playing with about 15 kids. We're playing 1-on-14, 101, right? And it's before camp started. And I had done a workout, at 6 a.m. and I always did those. And Timmy was a big part of that. And he shows up with, breakfast and with a Powerade. He's like, hey, JT, just wanted to say hello. Today's my first day. And I'm like, that really stood out for me as someone that always cared. And I grew close to him, his wife, Rachel, his kids. And, I went to plays and performances that his kids did. And,
oh, that's cool.
Salt of the earth. And he takes my call every time. And, I've been able to ask him questions and guidance on a lot of things. And, I know you miss your buddy, and Hans was a great part of my time in Europe, and I listened to him all the time when I was there. That, Scotty, but I couldn't have picked or prayed or designed a better guy to be next to you than Tim LaComb, because no one is as connected, knows as much about Utah sports than that guy. And so, what a great pickup you had.
Hans.
Lloyd, knock it off.
Hey, JT, you I think you're the man. And just a little color to one of those stories. I was new there, and my kids just absolutely loved JT because he was always so nice to them, and would have Sam come over and shoot with them, and was fun with my daughter. And so she had a play. She was probably like 5th grade or something, and I guess one way or another he heard about it. So we get to the play. And I turned to my right, and JT's standing there looking for us. He drove all the way over from Provo to be there for my daughter. And that was just the type of guy. that we were dealing with. Yes, he's crazy with sometimes when he's with the stuff he says, but I have been too, and I laugh because I remember he irritated me at Timpview because he was so arrogant. Like, man, if that guy would just put the time into being a guy. And then, my compliment to him was he put the time into being a guy, and he did. He came up to the U and hit a bunch of threes and ended a big, long streak of Utah beating BYU up there.
Jonathan Tavernari joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. JT, always appreciate you. You know that you have an open invitation to join the show anytime you want, and we would let's not make this a one-time thing. Make sure we get you on the reg, okay?
Hey, absolutely. And as always, you guys are killing it. The show is great lineup. And whenever you guys need me, just have Chimi FaceTime me or call me, because he's on my favorites. Do not disturb comes through.
Okay, you followed the script perfectly. You'll be getting the money. Thanks for taking part in this today.
The pen will be on your way. I
Thanks
promise.
for saying all the right things. I love you, kid.
Appreciate you. Love you, Timmy. Bye-bye.
There he is, Jonathan Tavernari. Good dude.
He's such a great dude. Like with everybody, he's got the parts. There were parts where I had to say, stop. Coach put him on just about every restriction you can. He put him on dribbling restriction. He was not allowed to dribble. You can ask the guys. He couldn't dribble because Coach is like, he'll either shoot it or pass it. So we eliminate one of the issues. And then the second one was he got talking, he got excited, and he would say stuff. And so Coach came in one day and he's like, JT, you're on media restriction. You can't talk to the media. And so to this day, every time I see him, I'm like, you off media restriction yet?
Oh, man.
But an absolute warrior competitor.
Oh, yeah.
Was a huge part of why we won so many games in that little stretch right there.
And you know what? You need that guy that is not afraid to take the shot.
Jaden McDaniel, right? A guy that will talk, too, a little bit. You need an edge, a little bit of an edge.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up in about 20 minutes from now, the Big T, Thurl Bailey, joins us straight ahead right here on the Zone.
Right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. There you go. Hey, by the way, a sad note from the world of basketball. Former Jazzman who was with the Jazz for a couple years, Jose Ortiz, passed away today at the age of 62, was dealing with cancer and finally succumbed. Started his career at Oregon State, was the Pac-10 Player of the Year in 86-87. Jazz took him number 15th overall in the 1987 draft. He chose to play in Spain, finally came over to the Jazz in 88-89, played a couple of years in Utah, and then decided to return back to Europe. Played with Real Madrid and Barcelona, among others, but a lot of people remember him jumping back on the scene. Remember, he was on that Olympic team, he and Carlos Arroyo, in 2004, the Puerto Rican team that beat Team USA in pool play in the Olympics, which did not go over very well, especially when Carlos Arroyo was a member of the Jazz at the time.
Yeah, a lot of changes made after that.
Yes. Right? Yep.
No, it's awful. It's tough news. And I remember when he was drafted, I remember him playing at Oregon State. We'll ask, we got Thurl coming up soon, so we'll talk to Thurl about that. It's actually how I learned the news today. But, anytime, remember your... Oh.
So, yeah, no, it's a tough story.
He's killing me. That stopped my heart. I was not seeing that one coming.
Given the story, I wasn't seeing it coming either. A little itchy trigger finger in there. So, Thurl Bailey's, I think it'll be good to hear Thurl's perspective on him, too. I think a guy that could have played a little bit longer in the NBA, but it's like, you know what? I'm going to go. I can make good money in Europe. I can make good money playing overseas, and decided to go that route instead, and was a hero in Puerto Rico. The guy is a legend in that country. Absolute legend.
And what's crazy is I think he may have fit today's game better. He's more of a skilled guy that can kind of face up and do some things. It's sad, and blessings or prayers to the family and everybody involved. It's never easy to do that, and certainly a part of the Jazz family forever.
Yeah. All right, take a break. Coming up next, you will hear from the great Thurl Bailey straight ahead. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Lloyd used to play this bumper, and I thought that was it at first because it kind of started the same, but then it got good. But Lloyd used to play this song with just like this horrible piano music at the first. And it sounded like one of those videos where a cat gets on a piano and just starts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like.
Speaking of cats, we're having cat wars at my house, man.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that. You got the upstairs cat and the downstairs cat.
Yeah, my daughter moved in for just a couple months, and they have a cat, and we have one. So we thought it better just keep them apart. Our cat's kind of an
keep
old.
them separated.
Very, very territorial cat. So it's been kind of a challenge. Trying to keep the two apart, trying to keep them both loved and cared for.
You think if you just opened the door and just let them, like, they would fight, or are they just big talkers? They're like on Twitter guys, like they're going to talk a lot, but ultimately nothing's going to happen.
My cat comes home all the time with all sorts of scrapes and stuff.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, my cat is a scrappy cat.
Okay.
Which I like.
It's a little bit like,
It's kind of like Lloyd showed me a video of X-Man. Was it X-Man? Choking.
Z-Man.
Huh?
Z.
Oh, Z-Man.
Oh, yeah.
That's Xavier with a Z.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Z.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, now I do. But he showed me you got an 0-2 count, and he stood in there choked up, like visibly choked up, hit one to right field, waited on it. Whap!
On an 0-2,
after,
On an 0-2.
After fighting me about choking. I don't like to choke up. Trust me.
It works.
Shorten the bat. Shorten the swing. Trust me.
And he
Boom.
did it.
And
Does
he was
the first
pleased.
time, hit.
Were you yelling at him, or did he just do it on its own?
No, he did it on his own.
Look at
I
that.
worked on it with him. I
That's
said,
a
hey,
proud
trust me,
dad
you
moment
get 0-2,
right there.
You choke up.
And it was out, he took one that I felt like looked to be a ball high and outside, but the dude kind of came back outside and he didn't try to pull. He just went with it right to right
over
field.
second baseman. Yeah. Beautiful.
So, all right. So, as a dad, are you like, way to go? Or are you like, about time? Like?
No, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Heck yeah.
You're very. I just want to know, like, are you how generous are you with the praise? Because are you like Todd Marinovich's dad, or like what?
I can always find things that I can.
I think
critique.
you know the answer to that.
Yeah,
I can always find things to critique. Absolutely.
Got Earl Woods over here.
But I didn't. Hey, 0-2 count. I was like, that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
You got down 0-2 and you did that?
That's
Fought it
gritty.
off?
That's gritty.
How upset would you be if he struck out looking?
Oh, I don't like strikeout looking.
I know.
No. I would. Yeah, that's a no. Anything close, you get the bat on it.
Yeah.
Put it in play. Yeah, we don't do that. We've been through that.
You go Merle. You go down swinging.
Go down swinging. Yes, absolutely. If you could put the bat on it, you protect.
Yeah.
Well, and he did. Proud dad
He broke
moment.
that habit.
And when my cat comes home with a scratch, I'm like, okay, you're a
Attaboy.
fighter. I like that.
Attaboy.
Defend the homeland.
Yep. Who knows what he's getting into out there? But he comes home and he's like, all right, where's the food?
Yeah, he just point me in. He loves Temptations. He just goes crazy for him. They're these little cat treats.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like the band. Like you put a little old
the
vinyl,
Temptations,
the
no.
old Temptations on.
No, different type. It's a food, and he just devours it. I can't get him enough of those things. It's aptly named. temptations. He gives in plenty, full at a time.
You drop a little catnip for him every now and then, just to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually bought him these gummies that, and you can't warn a cat.
There's cat gummies.
They're a chill gummy. It's not the gummy, but they have them, and you can kind of sneak them in their food. And so I was like, I wonder if he took it, and he came in. He looked like it. He looked like Ed Asner. I've never seen a cat with bags under his eyes.
Dude just blazed out of his mind.
He was looking at me like, "What have you done to me, man?
You got some temptations, dude."
I just laid it. I was like, "Yeah, let me just. You'll be okay soon.
just sleep it off. You'll be fine. You'll be fine."
Oh man.
So Thurl Bailey's going to join us. We'll talk some jazz with him. I am on a mission to either get Thurl or Bowler on the dais for the draft lottery. I don't know who yet. I know you're tight with Ryan, but I'm curious to know who Ryan's going to send to the podium.
I am too. I'm as curious as you are.
Because there needs to be some good juju out there.
Man, honestly though, I know we got to talk about it, but I'm going to leave it at a distance because I've really given my heart and soul to it a couple times, and it's just
last year we got burnt.
Yeah, so I'm just going to. I think for the betterment of the organization, I'm just going to be involved, but just be. Hover.
All right, time to classy up this joint. The man himself, Thurl Bailey, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big T, how are you?
What's up, my guys? How you guys doing?
Look, that's the kind of positive energy we need right now. Man, it's good to hear your voice. We're good.
Oh, it's good to hear you guys. I miss you already.
Yeah, well, I don't get to see you like I used to, like about 4 times a week, but I appreciate you jumping on today, man. It's awesome to have you. And you obviously were the person I heard from, but obviously a tough thing with Jose Ortiz, former teammate and Jazz family member, passed away today at 62. Just your thoughts on that.
Well, Jose was an amazing man. We were really, really good friends when he came here. The Jazz drafted him here. I know his stay wasn't long, but we continued to stay in touch. We actually met up against each other when we both played in Greece. And we just kept in touch over the years, and it's just sad, just way too soon. And so, yeah, I sent out a rest in peace message to him and his family, and it's a tough loss. I mean, that basketball fraternity, as you know, is a big one, but there is a connection there, especially with guys that you spend time with.
Was he a little bit ahead of his time in terms of his game?
I think so. He was actually, I believe, the first Puerto Rican player of Puerto Rican descent to be drafted into the NBA. And he actually didn't come right away. He took a different path. He got a better offer overseas, but he did end up coming over. He was a very versatile big. When he first started, he wasn't physically, I think, prepared, but he later really worked in the weight room and got muscled up and improved his game. So, yeah, I think kind of like me in a way. I mean, I was kind of a late bloomer, but I think for where he grew up, he was probably way ahead of his time. But when he came to the NBA level, I think it was kind of a difficult adjustment for him. But he certainly had a great career overseas.
Thurl, how were into the hockey did you get? Were you like the rest of us and kind of locked into that, or have you kind of taken a break from all things competitive sports after a crazy run that we know you go on?
No, you know what? I was pretty locked in, and it's unusual because I've never really attended. That was really my first pro hockey game.
Wow.
It was my first, but I felt like it wasn't. I mean, I feel like the Mammoth are part of the family. And, I'm definitely going to support them. Didn't really have a lot of opportunities as, when we traveled, they were here, or we both were traveling at the same time. But I've gotten to meet a lot of the guys, and, man, the atmosphere I know how that playoff atmosphere feels in basketball, especially with the Jazz, but it was electric. It was just nice to be a part of that atmosphere. I know it was tough getting knocked out of the first round, but those guys will be back strong, I'm sure, next season.
How important is that? Because you got a couple guys on that team that knew what the playoffs were like. But you can try to tell guys, I'm sure, guys, when you came into the NBA, like, hey, when the playoffs happen, this is going to happen. It's going to be this more physical. The refs aren't going to blow whistles. They're going to try to just knock your lights out. And you can mentally try to prepare it for, but until you actually go through it, what's that like? I mean, because I think the NHL guys had a little bit of an adjustment, and I'm sure when the Jazz make the playoffs next year, you like how I did that, when they make the playoffs next year, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of an adjustment there for these young guys as well.
There is an adjustment. It really ends up being almost a different season. Everything is amped up, from your fans to, especially in hockey, from your fans to the production of it all. I mean, the production of that game was freaking amazing to me to watch. All the digital stuff that was going on, it was fun. And I didn't really have a reference when I came to the Jazz because nobody had made the playoffs.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Team hadn't made the playoffs, and my rookie season was the first time that the Jazz had done that. And so we really didn't know what to expect. We were kind of going off adrenaline, the excitement of the city and everything. But, once you experience it, man, it's a whole different, almost preparation. You get amped up for it, and you kind of have to settle down a little bit when game time comes because you're so amped up and kind of fall into place.
I know we see the game a lot the same as why we connected many years ago while I was trying to recruit your kid, and we didn't have success getting Brendo, but we formed a friendship over the years. And one guy that I really respect when I talk basketball with, but you got to love what Ant did last night in the face of, guys seeming sometimes to take the easy way out. The dude faced it head on and led his team to winning that game. And just your thoughts on that game last night.
I really love watching him, and I said maybe a little over a year ago, season or two ago, that I think he could be the face of this league. Now, a lot goes into that, right? Winning and doing the right things, sometimes saying the right things. But he is so talented. And I don't throw this around. I mean, I don't make a comparison. Don't get me wrong, people who are listening. But he has some Jordan-esque basketball qualities. And he is so athletic, and he's starting to really get a lot smarter. I think Minnesota has put him in a situation where obviously he's the first option, but he's learning how to play with his teammates now. He's just incredible to watch, especially when you come back off an injury and you're probably not 100%, but you go out and you play strong. I listened to his interview afterwards, and it wasn't even about the win, right? It was about how he could be better and the mistakes he made, not rebounding the way he should, even though they got the win. So I like where he's headed, Coach. I think as a person, I think he's continuing. He's still a young player in this league and trying to grasp what it means to be a star, a potential superstar. So that was a big win for them, and he definitely was a catalyst.
Obviously, you got a guy like Wemby who just is a monster defensively with those 12 block shots, but I thought Rudy did a good job defensively against him. I thought that Julius Randle did a good job defensively against him. 11 points on 5 of 17 from the field, 0 of 3 from the three-point line. That's a young man trying to find his way in the playoffs as well.
He is. I mean, he's an anomaly in this game. And so I think what he really is learning how to do, and I'm not sure, how this is really going to fare for him, is because he doesn't play a ton inside. When he does, he's in that dunk spot, or he's in that atmosphere, that area where no one else is. They can throw it up. He came down on a downhill dribble and just ran in and dunked it with two hands. I mean, to be that size and to have that ability is just crazy. So I thought Julius Randle made him work inside. When you have that kind of lower leverage and you put it in those legs, it's tough. It's tough for him to kind of maneuver down there. His three-point shot wasn't going well. So But man, he had a triple double anyway with blocked shots. That's not nothing. That's pretty spectacular.
What's your take on the Knicks right now? Look to be the favorites in the East and playing really well.
Yeah, I think they're going to run through Philly. I mean, Philly's going to have some moments. I'm not totally sold on Embiid. I don't know if I ever have been, and maybe it's because he's been injured enough. I know he was MVP of the league a few years ago, but his style, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I think they can be really, really good. They may win a game, but I like the Knicks and how they're playing right now. They are my favorites in the East.
You surprised that Boston got bounced?
I was. Yeah, I was. I mean, I thought that they've got the build in that team that should have, taken them to the next round. But injuries obviously play a role in that. But yeah, I was really surprised that they got beat.
When you're a team that relies on that three-point shot as much as they do, and you go cold, it can be a problem. And I know all the nerds out there want that three-point shot up as many times as possible, but it can come back and bite you if you're not careful.
Yeah, especially on a night when you're not making them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough, especially, and Coach might agree with this, especially in the playoffs where your scores are probably going to be a little lower, right? Because you're not getting as many fast breaks. The defense may be playing you a little bit full court at times, and everybody knows everybody. I mean, you're playing multiple games against teams, so the game plan for three-point shooters is to make it hard for them. And so I think that's what the Sixers did. I thought actually that Boston had the better team, but when you're not hitting that shot that you rely on so well, you're going to struggle.
How excited are you that the boat is carrying on Tank River? We're off, and we're headed for brighter things here in the near future. The last 4 years, having broadcasted as well, it gets challenging because this brand means something to us, and being able to be out there and see this team be successful is kind of what we all want. But it has been a process. What are you most excited about getting into next year, Thurl?
Well, first of all, we all do want that, but we also are astute enough to understand what it takes to get that, right?
Correct.
And if you look around this league, that is really the game you have to play. Now, look, the rules are set up that way, and the system's going to be taken advantage of as much as it can be. But I think my excitement, even in those few tough years that we've had to go through, is getting past that to what we all, I think, in our minds have imagined what it could be. And I don't think that picture is far off in my head and you guys' head. The potential that we have and how good a team we can be on paper or in our vision. But I'm ready for that to come alive. The biggest thing I think I was excited about was that we did have a chance for guys to develop into strong players and potential stars in this league. I think Bryce Sensabaugh is a future star in this league. I'm not sure he gets that if he doesn't get those minutes. Kyle Filipowski does not kind of break out of his shell and show us what he really can do if he doesn't get those minutes. Isaiah Collier, same way. Ace Bailey. So, yeah, I'm ready to see what the nucleus I kind of know what the nucleus is. I'm ready to see what the supporting cast is going to be like, the rotation. And there's no doubt we're going to have some size. So ready to see how Coach Will Hardy schemes are going to take advantage of all those talent.
For a guy like Will, and you've been around him and you've seen his coaching style and what he brings to the table, to know that, the reins are off and go out and win some games, I'm really curious to see him really flourish as a coach, because this will be an opportunity. The one time we really saw a Will Hardy team without any real, restrictions, whether they're self-imposed or not, was that first part of his first year as a head coach. And that team got off to a really great start. And since then, there's always been some limitations on the roster. But I think giving him a full locker room with some guns, and I think we're going to see a good team right out of the gate.
Well, we talk so much about, how excited we are for the players, and the players are, obviously excited to get moving on into this next season. But I think Will Hardy, I'm excited for him more than anyone, because first of all, he understands. He's got a commitment from this team. This is an impatient league. You've seen that over the last week or so with coaches getting fired and moving on. But he knows he's got the commitment from Ryan. And so I'm excited for him, because I've been able to watch him, even in the tough times, carry himself and also keep the culture of the team, which is hard to do, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's so hard to do in the situation like the Jazz have been in the last few years. But think about it. There hasn't been anything coming out of the locker room. There hasn't been anybody going on, going on record talking about how dissatisfied. I mean, you don't get that. And I think it really starts with Coach Will Hardy and the culture that he's developed and what he's talked to this team about where this team can go and where they can be. So I'm really excited for him. He's a great coach. And we even saw that last year and the year before, even with the lineups that were out there. I love the fact that he's got a staff that is really focused on developing these players. So I'm really excited for Will this coming season.
Hey, Thurl, tell me a little bit, and all of us, about your podcast. I saw that you have a podcast out there, and you've had great guests on there. You talk about all sorts of great stuff. Give us a little flavor on that one, my guy.
Well, it's called Rise and Grind, man. And we've all done it, right? I mean, how'd you guys get to where you are today? You had a goal in mind. You decided at some point this is what you wanted to do, however it started for you.
A Honda Civic?
Right?
Oh, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's the grind part, right? And the rise is, you've got to have something that gets you up in the morning, some kind of purpose. And so there's so many people out there that want to be successful, as you guys know. But they've got this other them that sometimes talks them out of it, or other people that don't give them, a chance to do it. And you guys have been around sports enough to know that that's a lot of the stories, but it's not just in sports. It's in, it's in every vocation. It's in everything. So, I do have some great guests. Lee Steinberg is coming up, and he was.
Nice.
And if you guys know Lee, man, just his story about. I met him when he was at the top of his game many years ago, and of course he fell from grace, had an alcohol problem, but he talks about it. He has a new book out called The Comeback. So he's coming up. Scott O'Neill, who heads Live Golf, he's coming up as well, talking about his tenure in the NBA and what he wanted to do as he grew up in this sports arena. So yeah, it's stories, it's journeys, it's the grind, and hopefully people can learn from it. Doesn't matter what age you are. Hopefully people can learn from the stories they hear, and you can get it wherever you find your podcast. There's a YouTube version and obviously an audio version wherever you download your podcast from. Rise and Grind.
Rise and Grind. Love it. Is there, when you talk to guys in sports or business or entertainment, all these people that have been successful, do you find any common traits that are consistent among all these guys that are ultimately very successful?
Yep. Failure. That's the common trait, right? I don't know if anyone can have the success they want without going through some tough times, and so it's really refreshing to hear these guests open up about real things, about having real issues like we all have, and how they were able to climb out of it, not by themselves, but just coming to the fact that, I've got to get help to get out of this pit, whatever that pit is for you. And so we all have that story. So it's great for other people to hear other people from different arenas talk about it.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that think failure means that's the end of that journey or the end of that goal, when in reality, it can just be a part of it and part of that journey and part of the story.
That is so right. And it's maybe the most important part when it comes to teaching, because everybody can be hunky-dory. I mean, it's kind of like, sports. Everybody's getting along. Everybody loves it when you're winning.
Yeah, exactly.
The sign of the true testament of who you are is how you handle those rainy days, the times when things look bleak, and how you get up and carry on and keep that ultimate goal in mind.
Thurl, I'm just looking at your basketball reference and realizing you only missed 2 games in your first 9 years in the league. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Man, you kidding me? Wasn't about to miss.
No load management for our guy here.
Wasn't about to miss.
Look at you go, dog.
There was some nights, I was maybe coming off an injury. But if I was 75, 80%, I was putting that uniform on. And that was that's just how we were. I mean, that's just, John was like that. Carl was like that. I think that era was, look, these people come to watch you perform and do your thing tonight. So on a personal level, I didn't want to disappoint. And so, I missed 15 games, I think, in my total career, including overseas, in 16 years.
You are correct. I just did the math, buddy. Not on the air, though.
That's okay. But, yeah, what a great game. It's still a great game. I love watching the playoffs, and I'm excited for where this Jazz team could be next season.
I've got to imagine if somebody came into that locker room in the late 80s and told Carl or John or you, like, hey, I can't go. I think I may have twisted my ankle. It just doesn't feel 100%, so I'm going to sit this one out. I can't imagine how that would go over in that locker room. There was probably, even if nothing was said, a lot of self-policing going on, being like, hey, you know what? If you've got all 4 limbs and you can breathe and you've got a heartbeat, then you're out there on the court.
First of all, they wouldn't have come in saying that.
Yeah,
they knew better.
they already know already.
Yeah,
right. I mean, they're not. They already know already. So the one thing Jerry and Frank used to say is, look, you don't need to be a hero. This is a physical game. If you can't go, you can't go. We get it. Not trying to, hurt you any further. But if you decide to put that uniform on, I don't want any excuses. Right? I don't want you to be a hero, but you put that uniform on, that tells me you're ready to rock. So that's how we approached it. And that's why you didn't see a lot of missed games out of those guys back in the day, too.
The great Thurl Bailey right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big T, thanks for your time. As always, we appreciate it. And looking forward to future conversations down the line and checking out that Rise and Grind podcast. Just search Rise and Grind wherever you get your podcast, whatever platform you prefer, and you'll be able to get a lot more Big T knowledge and wisdom right there.
And both of you, congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Fired up, man. Absolutely fired up.
I feel
you'll be great.
I feel bad for Scotty, but I'm thrilled for myself.
Yeah, I felt bad for Scotty too initially, but
you know.
Thanks, Thurl.
My man.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
There he is, Thurl Bailey, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hard-pressed to find a better human being than that.
I was so intimidated when, had to go in and recruit guys. I had to recruit these guys whose dads had played and made these names for themselves, and you just wanted to handle yourself right,
Yeah.
But, man, what an incredible dude right from the very first day, and has not changed one iota. He's the same dude. I love him.
And every time that I'm down there in the pit, I take a picture of that spot on the court. I'm like, hey, you still have a hard time wrapping your brain around the fact that a national championship game was played in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But that North Carolina State team right there on that court winning a national title.
I lost my first.
That's why.
I lost my first wager that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You had Houston.
I had Houston. I had $1 on it with my brother-in-law.
Wow.
And shout out to Jeff. He's since passed, but he taught me the fine art of, losing your first bet.
Yeah. Usually you always win your first bet because that's why you keep coming back. You're trying to get.
They were the heavy favorite.
Oh yeah, that was a no-brainer. I mean, did he give you points too? Or
no, I didn't understand the whole. Yeah, it was just win-lose. I was in a perfect spot.
Wow. All right, 1:30, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A little sports roulette coming up next.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Life doesn't wait. The kids outgrow the old couch. The fridge stops working. And sometimes you just want to treat yourself to a bigger TV. That's where Aaron's comes in. Shop thousands of products from top brands in furniture, electronics, appliances, and more. Find what you love, take it home, pay over time, and once you're done, it's yours. Because getting what you need for your home should feel easy. Shop Aaron's.com or visit your local Aaron's store today. Approval not guaranteed. Restrictions apply. See stores for details.
It's time to spin the wheel and talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The coach, Tim LaComb. I'm Scott Garrard. Just holding on to those coattails, man.
No, that is not true, and we're having fun. I've laughed today. Today's made me chuckle. Got me a couple times. I'll go into detail.
You and your BFF, Thurl, and everybody else.
It's fun to reconnect with all these great friends of mine.
See how they come around when you get a show?
Yeah, I think the horn might be making a significant contribution to the show.
But honestly, you know what's so cool about JT and Thurl? They're two guys that would, if I was like, holding an event today at the Five and Dime, they'd be there.
Yep.
It's just, you get relationships that mean something and good people. That's what this is all about.
Oh yeah, no, and honestly, when you think of the people that you've come in contact with, and even me throughout the years, there's certain people you just love to be around, and that's kind of what we want to build on this show. Just a couple dudes hanging out with their friends, having some fun.
That's it. Because this is sport, but at the end of the day, you peel it right down. It's just people doing it.
Yeah.
And the great stories are in the people, are they not?
Oh, 1,000%. Hey, KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contests. All right, let's get to it. Fire up that wheel.
Ant-Man playing in the wrong decade.
Spent a lot of time talking about this today as Anthony Edwards says, knee problems, don't care. Bone bruise, no worries. I'm playing. And he plays well. 25 minutes, has 18 points, and was absolutely critical, hitting a big three over the top of Wemby late in that game. But Anthony Edwards, just huge night, looking like he was right out of, old school, late 80s basketball. That guy is for all the things that we complain about in the NBA for us old guys, we should be celebrating Anthony Edwards for what he did last night.
I totally agree. And I love the fact that, this team was fractured a little bit early in the year, and they've gone through all sorts of ups and downs. But at the end of the day, it's like, Thurl said, these guys know how to handle the playoffs. They've really leaned into each other. And you can do that when your best player's cooperative. And the fact that it says everything to me that not only did he play, but, he agreed to come off the bench because that's how Finch thought the best use of his time would be. So he was able to do that and come off the bench and put his ego to the side. I mean, there are guys in this league that wouldn't do that. Lots of guys in this league. If I'm coming back, I'm starting.
Remember the old Carlos Boozer line? Craig Bolerjack interviewed him, and he was coming back off injury, and Bowler asked him if he'd be willing to come off the bench because Paul Millsap was playing really well. And Carlos looks at him and says, I'm a starter, period. End of story. It's like, okay, all right. Yeah, I get Bowler talking about, Bowler loves to tell that story.
I'm a starter, period.
I'm a starter.
I can just hear it.
Period. No ifs, ands, buts about it. All right, so you think this sucker is going 7, though?
I do.
It does feel like this is going to be a real epic battle.
I totally agree. That game last night was played so well, and the freakish nature of Wemby and some of the things he does just blow your mind. I think Finch is a really good coach, and he's got this team primed to go do it. It was awesome to see Mike Conley out there. If they have any kind of issues with depth, there's not much more to go.
Yeah.
So they got to make this work. But yeah, I think kudos honestly to Ant. In a day and age we talk about injury management and how to maybe get out of games. This dude's trying to get him as soon as he can.
All right, Lloyd, spin it.
LT is okay.
LT is okay. Lawrence Taylor, who was in the hospital since you go back to April 20th, dealing with according to sources, a stomach virus, I think. Stomach-related issue is exactly what they're calling it. Has been in the hospital for nearly 2.5 weeks, was finally released. His agent said he is grateful now to be on the road to recovery and hopes to be back on the golf course soon. Mr. Taylor would also like to sincerely thank everyone for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers. Look, I am a huge Lawrence Taylor fan. I know he's not a particularly good human being, but Lawrence Taylor, the football player, I will always be a fan of, even though he did wreck my Broncos in a Super Bowl once. I don't care. LT, the football player, was must-watch. Before we ever really got into really enjoying pass rushers, he was like the first that could just wreck a game and take over a game single-handedly.
And it was about more to him than just getting the sack. Like, he wanted to inflict pain.
Yes.
And was just so amazing to watch. He actually is I have 2 mini helmets in my little guitar room, and LT's one of them, and the other is Ray Lewis. Because I felt like, again, off the field, lots of things you can talk about, but on the field, those guys were warriors and absolute just, like I said, they wanted to hurt you. Not just win, but they wanted to hurt you.
Yeah, look, the 86 Bears always gets put up on this pedestal as the best defense ever, and they probably are. I would put the 2000 Ravens ahead of them. I know I'm nerding out here a little bit, but that 87, 88 Giants team, they were a problem.
They were a problem, absolute problem. And a couple of years ago, I went to a gala in Beverly Hills and got to meet LT. I was actually walking to the restroom, and I about got got trucked, and I looked over, and it was hot. It was an outdoor thing, and he was sweating like crazy. And I stopped him, and I was like, "Hey, man, you are a guy I want to say hi to." And he's like, "Ah, thanks, man."
Oh, he was cool.
Really cool. He was great. Absolutely.
I could see that going
I know I thought of that too.
Yeah.
But I went in and I didn't get popped. So.
Well, that's good because it would not be fun to be on the business end of that one. All right, spin it, Lloyd.
Fun battle in Vegas.
All right. Okay, I know, Lloyd. I have some fun at the Raiders' expense. This one, I am cheering. This is hard, too, because we got a guy with some local ties up against one of my favorite stories in all of college football last year. So Matt Gay, former University of Utah kicker, is now in a battle to be the kicker for the Las Vegas Raiders. But he is going up against Kenzie Matsuzawa, who I think is one of the greatest stories in college football over the last year. So he was they called him Tokyo Toe. And he was a guy.
I've heard of the Tokyo Toe.
He was a guy that learned how to kick while watching YouTube videos, working at a restaurant. And he thought, I could do that. So he watches YouTube videos on how to kick. And he starts going out to a local high school and starts practicing. And last year, that dude was money kicking the football. That dude did not miss and ended up winning a bunch of awards. I am actually, and I know this sucks, but Matt Gay has had a nice NFL career. I am actually rooting for the Tokyo Toe to be your new kicker next year, Lloyd, because I think he'll be great.
Let's go to the judge. Judge, what do you say on that one?
I don't know. I don't know who's the better out of the two. Whoever's
I just want the better guy for us.
Just give me the better guy. I don't care if it's Matt or if it's the Tokyo Toe. I'll take whoever is the better. Their last kicker was terrible last year.
I'm great. A good story is always. I'm a sucker for a good story.
You are hard pressed to find a better story than Tokyo Toe. Did you even know about him before?
I had heard about the Tokyo Toe.
All right, okay.
His tail that comes from a long ways.
Yeah, I mean, and I chatted with him for about 10 seconds when Utah State played Hawaii, and just a dude that just looked like he was just happy to be living the dream. You know, when people live the dream, but they don't know they're living the dream until after the dream's over. He realized fully that he was living the dream.
This is a dream.
And he goes, I might be on borrowed time here, but I'm going to enjoy every second of it. He was like a cult figure there on the islands kicking for Hawaii. They didn't have a lot going for him, but they had him, and that dude was really fun.
What if they say in Raiders lore, 20, 30 years down the road, it was that season we brought in Fernando and the Tokyo Toe.
Fernando and the Tokyo Toe.
That was an interesting little accent there you did.
I don't know. I was just trying to
that
make.
That sounded like somebody.
Days of yore. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound.
I got that autumn wind and the Tokyo Toe.
The Tokyo Toe.
Something, on the kicking end maybe, but the Tokyo Toe can be painful.
Well, yeah, that's no fun.
It's a cousin to the gout.
Yeah, that Tokyo Toe's flaring up again. That's just not good. That's not good at all.
I'm hurting myself today.
1:45. We'll wrap up this bad boy next right here on The Zone.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coach and I got to clear out of here because we need Jake and Ben on the air right at 2 o'clock because you got a little press conference brewing over there with the Utah Mammoth, kind of an end of season. You've got Andre Tierney, Bill Armstrong, Chris Armstrong, all addressing the media. So everything you need to know about postseason plans for the Mammoth. And I just want somebody out there to say, what do we got to do to bring back Kyler Yamamoto? That's it. I want one question asked.
That's what we want.
Put the priority on our guy Yams. We need him back.
And do yourself a favor every day and listen to Jake and Ben. I listened. I get to listen for only like 20 minutes now. My drive is not quite what it used to be, but love those guys and they do a great job of getting you home safe and sound from the office or wherever you are.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe when you're up in the sitting back on the hot tub, you just play a little Jake and Ben there.
That's what I did
Like
yesterday.
they'd be right there in the hot tub with you.
That would be weird.
A little weird. Jake's. I'm just trying to crack Jake up. He's not even paying attention.
He's prepping.
I know. Never
in the proverbial bullpen.
Never a dull moment. He's ready. He's locked in, ready to go. All right. So lineup coming up tonight. Let's see if you can have another perfect night tonight. NBA, you got 2 games on the docket. Let's start with the Cavaliers taking on Detroit. Now, this is Detroit only a 3.5-point favorite. I would have expected a little bit more. Where are you going on this one?
Pistons.
Covering the 3.5?
Yeah, they bring the physicality in a big way tonight.
I could see this being a 10-point game.
And honestly, the cheat code out there, the Cavs, they have a couple dudes out there in every possession, just go at them. And that's what Detroit will make no bones about it. They won't be schemed all great, but they're going to make the paint the priority.
This is like Minnesota against Denver. Just go at him.
Go at them. Make Donovan guard, Jared Allen saved their butt. Night, bottom line. He had a great night, and Jake and I do pre and post. We have our little list of guys, and Jared Allen's always been on that list because he's there to do that. He doesn't necessarily have those numbers, but he plays like he wants to win every night.
Yeah, which isn't as common as you would hope in the NBA.
Not anymore.
Nope. Lakers and Thunder. Thunder a 15.5-point favorite in this one. You know what? Give me the Thunder minus the 15.5.
I think the Lakers. I think Bronny gets in the game tonight, and he is just able to basically finally ball out. No, I'm with you. The Thunder, and for all the reasons that Kurt Helin talked about earlier, it's just such a mismatch in talent.
Oh, yeah.
And size and ability and everything else.
Yeah, no, this is going to be the Thunder. I will say the Lakers get one game. It'll be a gentleman's sweep. They'll get game 3, first game in L.A., kind of a nod to LeBron maybe playing in his last playoff series as a Laker, whatever. That he'll get one game. The calls will go their way, and they'll eke out one win. Because Oklahoma City said, we'll give you this one and we'll close it out at home. But, this thing isn't going anywhere past 5.
Now, it's hard to be perfect every night, too. In the playoffs, you never know. And hey, LeBron got his kid drafted. He could negotiate a playoff win out of the league.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. No, it's like, hey, Adam, you owe me this one.
You owe me this one, dog.
Yeah, dog. Wild and Avalanche. We had a 9-6 game. First time these two teams played. I don't think your over-under is going to be at 14.5 going into this one, but I do think the Avalanche will win and probably win fairly easily tonight as well. So there you go. You going Avalanche as well?
Yeah, Avalanche. I mean, the scores, it was so high I thought it was at Coors Field.
Yeah.
But with the wind blowing out.
Especially with that rocky pitching staff, too.
No, I think the Avalanche will roll again tonight, but it'll be an entertaining game for sure.
All right, that wraps it up for us. Coming up next, Jake and Ben and Bill Armstrong, Andre Tierney, Chris Armstrong, the front office of the Utah Mammoth, their postseason wrap-up from them. You'll hear it next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.